Oh, there you
It's
go.
the only R&B guy I can
You
think
got
of
the
on the
Kango
top.
going on today. You got a
Twisted
little...
Keith Sweat.
Love that song.
All right. It's a good song.
Love that
Keith
song.
Sweat to me is a different song.
Right. This is my whole entire point, is that you take the most obscure song. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You just have a different...
I mean, listen, I understand what mood... Okay, we're live. I just want you to know, if you just joined us, this is the 25th podcast episode we're doing. If the last 15 minutes were live, this would be a bad situation if the last 15 minutes were live. We were having a little too much fun. Adam telling us his pickup lines, which may be for a different episode that we'll do. Anyways, we have a lot to cover today. A lot of crazy things happened the last 2 days. I'm going to show a video I did about voting, just so you know where my values and principles lie.
Yeah.
This is a video I did April of 2014.
All right.
Okay, on how I felt about the voting system and how I think we should change the voting system. We'll get a chance to watch it, hopefully on 1.5.
Still relevant?
I think
today?
it's important because some of the stuff I was watching myself, I'm like, okay, that's extreme. This is, but it's good to see it, to kind of see what happens.
Have you evolved your opinion?
I think you'll see when you see where I was at that time. But I actually like what he had to say. What the 35-year-old PVD had to say, I actually like what he had to say. I like that guy.
He's a good guy, that guy.
He's a good guy. Okay, we're going to talk about ages. Like what ages do we get to do certain things in America? Being a president, being a vice president, Senate, House, sexual consent, smoking, alcohol. I guarantee you some of you guys are going to learn numbers about age and consent, certain things that you never thought were legal. We're going to talk about today. Alibaba's singles day that they had, they had a decent day. We'll let you know how that compares against Amazon. Bill Ackman makes another massive bet on new COVID-19 surge. The last time he made this bet, the last time he made that bet, he made a lot of money. But he's doing it again, and this time around, he's doubling down. Billionaire, you'll see where he's going with it. Pfizer CEO, the day after they announced the vaccine, you will not believe what he did with his shares the day after they announced the vaccine. I mean, it's shocking when you find out what is. Seriously, it's shocking when you find that, and I'm curious to know your thoughts about it. Ammunition backlog of over $1 billion. Adam's been concerned every day lately. Have you guys noticed that? Adam's been complaining about ammunition backlog.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, mine's on back order for months now. I got to get my guns. I need 10 more.
That's why he got his nunchucks out.
I need 10 more guns.
No. Adam's going to get away with anything by just being charming and smooth. Listen, I don't think it's a good idea for you to shoot me right now, because don't you want to live a long life and enjoy?
Listen,
don't you want to do?
I got something to tell you. The day that you shoot me and kill me, you will die the next day. This is what happens.
That's exactly the line. That's
bad
podcast.
karma, man.
What is it, episode 3 or 2? I think it's one of them we talked about. Genius.
My premonition.
Governor Abbott welcomes major stock exchange to us, the NASDAQ. They're having conversations right now. Kai, did you get the story about California and Newsom on what New York and California is doing? Is it in there or no? Is it in here when I go to it? Okay, Georgia's doing a recount, but by hand. Biden's buddy is saying that we should shut down the economy for 6 weeks, which is a brilliant idea, obviously. Tesla selling tequila bottles for $2.50. Where is that article? That's the article I want to really talk about. The one that talks about, let me see where you have it. Nearly 80% of Americans say Biden won White House, ignoring Trump's refusal to concede. That's Reuters, which is it's a big number. We'll talk about that as well. I do not see where you have that, Kai. Is it under politics?
It's at the top of the page where it starts with Republicans.
Can you read it? You just read it.
You're looking for the 80% number?
No, I'm talking about how California and New York are telling you how to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Have you seen that? It's absolutely berserk.
Oh, there's
a
limit of 10
If you don't
people.
have it here,
Watch how
I
you're
don't see
talking
it.
about my governor. Be careful.
I apologize.
Oh, it's at the bottom of the page where it says politics.
Well, we'll get into it. I want to get into
Bottom of the page.
Bottom of the page politics. Matter of fact, I don't mind getting into that, but I think it's a good idea we get into
Thanksgiving holiday rules.
Let me see here. I want to get into that right off the bat. Anyways, why don't we get into I don't have it here. If you have it,
Why don't we
show it to
start
me.
the story off with telling everybody why you look so fresh this morning?
Oh, I look so fresh this morning
Yeah.
because I woke up this morning. I said, I don't know why. I just want to look good for Adam today. It's just a commitment I made to myself.
Why don't you do that for me every day anymore?
No, I do it every day. Sometimes it's a white T-shirt. Sometimes it's white shoes. It's pretty consistent.
Let's talk about looking fresh. Tom Rook, the Kangol, he's breaking it back to the 80s.
You know what?
He's doing it.
When I don't have to spend any time on my hair, it saves me 10 minutes. It's awesome.
10 minutes, wow.
So
minimum.
So let's get into it. Alibaba. Let's start off with business. Alibaba. Okay. All we think about is and hear about is Amazon, 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 Amazon. Right. It's all we hear about, and we talk about Amazon all the time. If you want to give it to me, if you have that, Alibaba's single day that they have. Is that yours or mine?
Mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alibaba's Singles Day, which is Amazon's Prime Day, right? Alibaba's Singles Day post-virus ends up doing $56 billion. Let me say that one more time. Singles Day does $56 billion in a day. Amazon, for their Prime Day this year, they did $3.5 billion. $3.5 billion versus $56 billion. We're talking 16 times is what they did. Singles Day was created by Alibaba exec Jack Ma and Daniel Zhang as a foil to Valentine's Day. The date 11/11 was picked because it looks like bare branches, single and unattached. We feel even lonelier now. Alibaba kicked off sales a little earlier this year. As of 12:30 a.m. local time, consumers spent $56.3 billion on products. To move all the products around, Alibaba's logistics arm prepared 3,000 chartered flights and cargo ships, 3 million logistic workers, and 10,000 mobile lockers to get this done. What do you think about? I mean,
Yeah, the logistics.
$56 billion against $3.5 billion.
Yeah. You know what? I don't begrudge these guys how rich they
insane.
are. You know, Bezos and Jack. By the way, how is Jack Ma only worth $40 billion?
Oh, he's not. He's just crossed
worth more
$100
than
billion.
Oh, he did?
He just crossed $100 billion.
You know, when you see a picture of Jack, you kind of get the idea why he wasn't getting a lot of dates on Valentine's Day and he had to create this.
But
hey,
sense.
brilliant
I'm sure
all
he's
the
getting
way.
dates now, though.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
doing all right.
Hey, here's a little fun fact about
Guy's 4'8".
about Singles Day. Just the amount of bras they sold on the first day, 1.6 million bras.
How would you get?
If you stacked them up, it would be 3 times higher than Mount Everest. Isn't that unbelievable? That's a lot of bras to move in China. You know,
They sold 1.6 million bras.
just on the first day. And I think this hit 100 billion. You know, because they do it longer. It's more than just one day. They go and go and go. I think it's a great sign that the economy is strong. If China, where they started the virus,
Yeah.
you know, is doing this well with their economy, I think it's a good sign. But it also reflects on the fact that the pandemic, people are shopping from home more. Those are staggering numbers. The logistics of what you just talked about, the amount of planes and how these guys coordinate this thing. We get ticked off if our Amazon delivery is 15 minutes late. Can you imagine what's going on in these warehouses where they have to you know, maybe that's why it's so hard to work for Amazon and they run such a tight ship. But I think it's staggering. I think it's unbelievable, and I hope it's a sign of good things for the economy if China's having this much success.
It's always reassuring when there's 1.5 million bras selling. It's always a good thing. But what are your thoughts about this numbers?
A lot of titties are being thanked on Singles Day.
Protected.
Yeah, protected. Good for them. I mean, speaking of Jack Ma, what was the big news from him last week? That he launched the largest ever IPO
That flopped.
ever. Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
the Ant Group. I'm not necessarily sure it flopped. Was that what the
What do you mean?
the final news
flopped.
What actually happened? Did it
What
not
happened?
I'm asking you.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
He was launching it, and then what?
It
Well,
didn't
the
happen.
Chinese
details
government kind of stepped in
it
a little
didn't
bit
happen.
too.
They stopped it.
Poor Jack Ma. So how did his wealth go from 40 billion to 100 billion overnight? Then I thought that was.
It's called your company does 56 billion in a day.
It's all because of the Alibaba.
The list came out yesterday. He's now on the list of $100 billion net worth. It's him. It's Gates. I think it's Zuck. It's Musk, and I'm one other one. I'm missing one other one. Musk, Zuck, Gates.
Warren Buffett?
No, it's the Renault guy. It's the Louis Vuitton. What is that?
Oh
one?
yeah,
Bernard
yeah, yeah.
Arnault.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
he's
that
Bernard
guy.
Arnault.
That's on the
By the
list.
way, how
LVMH.
high will that get in our lifetime? Will we see somebody at 500 higher? You think Bezos
In our lifetime?
In our lifetime,
100%.
You think we'll see a trillionaire?
In our lifetime, who's the youngest? He's 40, so let's just say he lives to 90. He's healthy. He takes care of himself. 50 years. In 50 years, I think we could see a trillionaire in 50 years.
But there's also a good chance if Biden gets reelected, if he gets elected for the first time, that Bezos could be a millionaire.
Well, that's an interesting one right there. It'll take more than I think. It'll take AOC for him to be a millionaire. We need an AOC for him to be a millionaire. I think Biden's not going to make him a millionaire. Anyways, okay, if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, why don't you share this with others and push a thumbs up for our buddies at YouTube for the algorithms to kick in. Because I know we're just getting warmed up here with the stories. I really want to get into this California-New York story, but I think we lead into it. Let's hang tight for it. Let's talk about Bill Ackman here. Let's talk about Bill Ackman, and we'll go into the vaccine situation. So Bill Ackman, billionaire, made another massive bet on the new COVID-19 surge. I hope we lose money on the next hedge, Ackman told the Financial Times conference on Tuesday. We're in a treacherous time generally, and what's fascinating is the same bet we put on 8 months ago is available on the same terms as if there had never been a fire, and on the probability that the world is going to be fine. Bill Ackman just placed another big bet against the credit markets as coronavirus cases surge nationwide. The billionaire has said he bought $8 million worth of insurance that will pay off if companies starts defaulting on their debts like they did when the coronavirus shut down the economy in the spring. The bet is nearly identical. His now famous hedge in late March, in which he bought $27 million of credit default swaps, CDS, which is what they used to do in the movie The Big Short.
Right.
He bought a $27 million credit default swap that netted him a staggering, you ready? He bought $27 million in March that turned it into $2.6 billion is what he did. He's banking on the economy taking a hit. When Ackman took his profits on March 23rd, there were just over 10,000 new cases of COVID-19 nationwide. On Tuesday, new cases were just shy of 140,000, a dizzying number that has stoked fears of a second lockdown. What are your thoughts on this?
His biggest thing was, he came out in mid-March, pre-lockdown. I mean, what was the big event that happened that the world was like, or America was like, holy, what's going on? The
South
NBA
by
lockdown.
Southwest or NBA, NHL.
Well, NBA and when the NBA shut down, everyone was like, what the hell's going on here? That was like, I think March
Yeah, that was the whole
10th, maybe, give or take. Fair enough?
Yeah, that's
he came out, I want
to
to say March 15th, 16th, 17th, right, like second week in March. And he basically, the first thing he said is, hell is coming. It was like the lead story on CNBC. Hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman has announced hell is coming and basically called on Trump for a lockdown. This is pre-full-on lockdown. And the dominoes fell. And clearly the guy was right because COVID exploded at that point. He placed the correct bet. Has been called the single best trade of all time. I mean, this is what a hedge fund guy does, right? I mean, you buy a position.
$27 million into $2.6 billion quickly? That's insane.
Do you think there's something shady going on there?
No, I'm not. I'm just thinking it's a great move.
He's
the
brilliant.
guy saw something coming, obviously.
Here's the deal. I mean, stay in your lane, though, bro. I mean, you don't need to be telling the president what to shut down, okay? If you want to get rich, you're an opportunist, you're brilliant. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Here's the problem I have. His quote after this latest round of shorting, he goes, I hope we lose money. Yeah, right. Okay, don't be disingenuous about it. I mean, you're in it to make money.
Good point.
If you're so concerned about, hey, I don't want this virus to take off and more people to die and get sick and blah, 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 then donate the money you made the first time, okay? You're a capitalist. You want to make the money. You got the opportunity. Say, I hope we make another $3 billion. Don't be like this. Okay, it makes it seem
he's
like
playing both sides. He wants to be nice, but also make a couple billion.
He's protecting himself.
Yeah, you know what? I also don't like the fear that he's throwing out there too. Oh, it's coming, it's coming. Back in March when he made that first bet, there was only 10,000 cases. Are there more than that now? Has it gone up? I haven't seen the latest stats. Are there still 10,000? No, I'm joking. It's like multiple millions, right? So anyway, it's going to work. The timing for him is perfect. If Biden holds on to this. It's all setting up for him to double that.
What did he bet this time? He put on how much this time? $8 million? Is that all he did?
Yeah.
So he didn't go $27 million again.
Correct.
I don't understand.
No, okay, this one is 30% as big as the last one, I think.
Yeah, 30%.
So $8 million.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing? If you just put another 27. If 27 turned into 2.6.
Maybe he's not as confident.
Yeah, that $8 million, if it did the same thing, it would turn into $800 million. That's what it would do. That $8 million to 100x your money in a span of a couple months.
Well,
$3 billion for the year.
He already 100x'd his money the first time around. Imagine doing that again in the span.
But
of
I tell
one
you,
year.
I think if he's going from 27 to 8, I don't think he's as confident about the fact that it's going to be as bad. I mean, if you're that confident, you would put 54. You would put 100. You just made $2.6 billion. Why don't you put 100 of it? Who cares what's 100?
Here's my biggest problem with it, though, because, okay, he's successful doing this. It's working. A lot of people have seen the Big Short movie. There's going to be a lot of people jealous that they didn't think of this, that have the ability to do it, that are in the financial world. What's to stop them from creating a frenzy that another wave is coming so they can make $1 billion? Because the media will run with it. They love these stories that the country is falling apart, is ready to shut down again, that the COVID virus is taking over everything. So watch for that, because there's going to be a lot of people that are jealous they didn't think of it.
If you're watching this, what do you think about it? What do you think about a guy betting $27 million to turn into $2.6 billion right afterwards? What are your thoughts? Is that okay? Are you comfortable with that? I'm curious. If you're watching this, comment below. But let's get into the next story. The next story, to me, it's, guys, this is very weird. Pfizer CEO announces the vaccine cashes out 60% of his stock on the same day the company unveiled the results of its COVID-19 vaccine trial. Let me say this one more time. This is not a typo. Pfizer CEO cashes out 60% of his stock on the same day the company unveiled the results of its COVID-19 vaccine trial. So they announced the vaccine, how it did, the 90% efficacy, all the stats that they gave us, and he sells 60% of the stock on the same. Wouldn't you keep it if you think the company is going to be going up? Wouldn't you be thinking, if the market responded, Disney went up, everything went up except for those Zoom stocks, the companies that were relying on the pandemic to stick around. Albert Bourla sold 62% of his stock on the same day the drug maker announced the COVID-19 vaccine trial. Bourla sold $5.6 million of his stock on Monday as part of his predetermined trading plan adopted August 19. His stock sale was carried out at $41.94 a share. The 52-week high for Pfizer was $41.99, so 5 cents less, which means the CEO cashed out his shares at close to their highest price this year. Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech on Monday became the first to post positive results from late-stage COVID-19 vaccine trials.
I mean, he has to know when he makes this move that it's going to hit the media and they're going to run with it. So I'm sure he has some sort of excuse. Well, you got to understand, here's what I was doing. Here's the thing. But as far as optics goes, this looks like the classic case of insider trading, right? I mean, this has insider trading, not even so much insider. He knew this was going down and he just exited. I mean, it hit the first time, it was a high for the year, 41.94. He sold it 41.99 and he just got out. I mean, what more could there be other than insider trading here?
You know, I got two thoughts on this. Number one, like you said, it was predetermined in August that he was going to do this. But number one, I'm suspicious about everything regarding the timing of this announcement. Politically, all right, when it came out, you know, just conveniently a few days after the election, how it happens to help one individual. And then, you know, how this breaks that day. But here's the other thought I had when I heard that he made $5 million on this.
More than $5 million.
He sold
$5.6 million.
Yeah, $5.6 million. Holy crap, is he underpaid? For developing the vaccine that is going to stop a pandemic, he is only making $5 million.
Yeah.
Okay, remember when everybody was talking about Bill Gates? You know, kind of like manipulating this whole thing, wanting to be involved in finding the vaccine to make billions. How do you only make $5.6 million for coming up with the vaccine to stop COVID-19? I think he should have made 10 times that.
To come out with that vaccine.
Yes. You know, hey, look, he did it. He was the first one out to market. There's no way he could be that stupid to come out and, you know, to do anything that could get him in trouble financially. But
so sometimes these deals, because it says here, he sold $5.6 million in stock on Monday as part of his predetermined trading plan adopted August 19th. So on August 19th, they didn't know that the market was going to, or Pfizer was going to announce the vaccine on this specific day. So was that a predetermined date that they were going to sell it on this specific day? Or could he have sold it later on? Because if you're optimistic about the fact that the vaccine is going to do very well, isn't it fair to say that Pfizer stock is about to blow up?
Yeah.
And if Pfizer stock's about to blow up and go from $41.94 a share, which is what he sold, if it's going to go to $80, that's what? That's $12 million for him. If it goes to $160, that's $24 million for him. Why is he cashing out at 5.6? Now, here's the other thing.
It seems very low.
Sometimes when you see this, maybe there's a divorce going on where the wife is forcing to sell shares because you have to pay the other half, but that's not it. This is a predetermined. This has got nothing to do with personal life. This is a contract Monday as part of a predetermined trading plan adopted August 19th.
Okay, I got two thoughts on that. Maybe in August, they didn't know they'd be first to get out. Okay, so
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
And the other thing too is there might be a bonus for him if they were first. He gets 10 million new shares, you know, that he can hold on to now and watch the stock price rise. So I'm sure there's some sort of incentive for him as the CEO for them to be first.
I tell you, I mean, if you're a CEO, think about it, Adam. You're a CEO. You're a CEO of Pfizer, okay? And you decided to work with Pfizer because they have great product, blue pills, whatever they got. But let's just say you're a CEO of Pfizer, okay? And you know more than anybody else that your vaccine is about to come out. Mm-hmm. You know all the testing you've done. You know it's coming out. And you know what kind of a blockbuster announcement is going to be if you're going to be the what? First. Pfizer's going to be on every single paper. Times, Post, Washington, New York, LA, everything is going to say Pfizer, Pfizer, Pfizer. Pfizer CEO for one day is the most famous man in the world. In one day, he's the most famous man in the world. You didn't know the name Albert Bourla as of the day before they announced it. You didn't know the
Hell
name.
no.
Okay? Nobody knew the name. Now, except for the people in the industry knew the name, but most people didn't know the name. You know this is coming up. Aren't you having a conversation with the guys who say, look, can I hang on to my shares? Do I have to sell my shares? Can I not sell my shares? Can I sit on these shares? Can I just hang tight? Because the scariest thing is when somebody's putting a bet on when you're going through a transaction, and let's just say you want to sell something, sometimes the buyer will ask you, do you want to keep some of the shares yourself? If you say, no, I want to sell 100% of the shares, but I'm really optimistic about this business, guess what the buyer says? How are you optimistic, but you want to sell 100%? But if you say, no, I'm cool, I'll let it roll a little bit, what does the buyer say? Okay, good. He's also vested with us.
He's got skin in the game.
I mean, he's keeping some of it, but wouldn't you keep the shares for another 6 months? See what's going to happen?
62% of his stock. I actually agree with Tom here. 5.6 million.
Nothing.
Seems
I think
very low.
Listen,
that's why I was like, well, he's made more than $5 million
Exactly.
here.
Well, you got to realize CEOs don't make as much money as you think. Founders do.
Okay.
CEOs not the same as a founder.
And especially
Fair
in
enough.
Europe,
Yeah.
they're not like American CEOs.
Unless if you're a CEO of Tim Cook, Apple, things like that, different story. But
You know, the gravy train is not going to stop for him for a long time. Couple reasons why. A, do you know that when we get the vaccine, we're talking about will you get the shot?
Yeah.
It's 2 shots. All right, it's not just one. You have to go back and do another shot in 3 weeks. This is a 2-part deal. And the other thing, too, is I saw a story today where the vaccine they're hoping is going to last for a year. So this thing is going to be around for much longer than a year. So Pfizer, if they're the first ones out there, if they can prove this thing and people trust it, they trust this vaccine and it's working and the testing all shakes out. I mean, you know, it's going to be raining on him for a very long time. I mean,
you're saying the vaccine is only going to last a year?
Well, more than likely. No. Yeah, the vaccine is going to last a year. So then you're going to have to get it again. If
just like the
COVID's
flu
still
shot,
out
you get it
there.
every year.
got
right?
it.
Is that what
So
you're
then
saying?
it becomes a continuous thing we do until this thing goes away and we don't have it anymore.
Well, that's the same thing as a flu shot, right? I mean, you don't get it once and you're done. It's
By the way, you
every
had
year.
mentioned, hey, we had never heard of that CEO. When you Google Pfizer CEO sells stock, that phrase, 59 million hits come up.
Exactly.
That's how many people checked
There
him
you
out
go.
after that story
That's
broke.
exactly the point. So imagine, as of the day prior to that, nobody knew. Day next, 59 million people are searching this guy's name.
But that goes back to my initial point. He has to have a story to tell, knowing that this is going to be the breaking news that comes out.
Yeah, but
the
here's
day
the other
after
thing,
this is
too.
announced.
It's brilliant because what are we talking about here? The election results. Something like this, if something nefarious was going on, could kind of slide under the cracks a little bit because people are so desperate to find this vaccine and have something on the market that's working. And we're talking about Biden versus Trump nonstop.
I actually don't know if there's anything nefarious going. I'm just thinking myself that this is just a, you know, if it's contracted that you have to sell on that day, he's screwed. So if it's something that he had to sell it on that same day, he's sitting around saying, shit, I wish I could keep this for another 3 more months or 6 more months, right? So if he could have negotiated it, great. If he couldn't have and he sold it, then I don't know if it's a good move or not.
So the bottom line is, if it's predetermined trading, they say on August 19th you have to sell. On November 10th, that's the date that you
that's what
have
it was.
to sell.
Predetermined trading.
So then the big question is, could the announcement have come a day later, or did it come on that date for him to capitalize on a higher 15% raised stock price?
Let me tell you, if this vaccine takes off for Pfizer, that 41 is going to go to 80 in no time. Guys, don't forget what happened to Zoom. We didn't even know about Zoom. We knew about Zoom, but we didn't know about Zoom the way. And all of a sudden, shares went from $60 to $500 in 6 months. Yeah. You know what? $60 to $500. That's like saying this $41 is going to go to $350 in the next 6 months. You know what's $350? If this thing goes to $350, that's nearly 9x. You know what's 9x of 5.6 million? That's a $50 million payday.
Sure.
$45 million payday. He left $40 million on the table.
Yeah, I would actually be pissed that I had to sell.
That's what
at
I'm
this point.
saying.
Yeah.
If he had to sell. So
I'm reversing course on this. This guy should actually probably want to hold on to this.
All right, we'll see.
He
We'll see.
exited 62%,
If there is something shady going on, I am sure it's going to come out in the next few days. But if not, man, if it wasn't a contract, a little bit of a bad
This is
timing
like a case
for him.
of reverse insider trading.
Yeah.
Like he got screwed on it.
Are you saying this is called outsider trading? Is that what you would
Outside,
call
yeah.
it? All right.
Well, he's on the inside.
So let's talk about California and New York. Let's talk about California and New York, two of the coolest governors we got in America. That the other day, I don't know if you heard what Cuomo said. Cuomo said, if I wasn't a governor, I'd love to deck him in the face.
I'd
love to. Yeah, Cuomo said this about Trump.
What was the country accent?
Wait, you didn't see this?
No.
Cuomo said, have you seen this or no? See if you can find it. Cuomo punched Trump. Go to YouTube and type in Cuomo punched Trump.
Pat, what was that country accent you used to use for New York?
It was like a Buffalo accent because it's definitely not New York.
I thought it had
I'm
a
like,
little
who- I'm like,
Alabama
watch
in
this.
it.
No,
freaking
not
Ross
this guy.
Perot make some threats over here? What was that?
Cuomo punched Trump. Go up. He just made that allegation. This is do filter it out by week. Filter it out by week. This week, left, right there, week. Let's see. Andrew can punch in Trump in the face. Yeah, there you go. Do the 53-second one, and I hope Okay, do the 53-second one right there. Reaction to what it said, and then fast forward.
Promise we want to end tonight on Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York. Trying to be the most masculine Cuomo on television, he announced he was thinking about punching Donald Trump this year. Sounds pretty tough, right? Punching the President of the United States right in the face, and he would have done it if he hadn't inherited his father's job as governor. Watch.
I needed him to help New York.
Meaning Trump.
That was my job. If I wasn't governor of New York, I would have decked him, period. I mean, he was attacking me. He was attacking my family. He was anti-Italian. He was every nasty thing. If I take away that word governor for 24 hours, I would have had a field day with him.
He's on steroids. Look at his face. That's a roid rage.
Oh my gosh, that's just hilarious. But a part of that to me is New York, the attitude of New York.
Yeah.
For him to say something like that,
He didn't say he'd punch him in the face, though. He said he would have decked him.
What does decked him mean? You tell me what decked him mean. Put him on a deck and have a cup of coffee? What does decked him mean to you?
It could have been in the chest. It could have been in the nuts. It could have been a kneecap.
my
He could have took him.
Isn't that
he could have
worse
Tanya
than the
Harding
president
him.
in the nuts?
Adam,
Just
you
saying.
are, there is a phrase called you're reaching. You are fully reaching
would've
right
decked him
now,
right in the
buddy.
face.
What the hell is that?
That's
never
the
seen. I'm gonna
universal
punch you.
phrase for
I've
decking
never seen.
someone.
I have
Let me
two
ask
sons.
you.
You know what my sons say?
What?
When they punch each other, they punch and they aim at one place.
Right in the
face. Face. What do you mean I'm
You're
gonna
raising some
deck him?
fighters over
I'm
there.
going to kick you in the shin,
Well,
a.k.a.
I mean,
Let me
deck
punch you in
Do you
the
have a-
shoulder,
do you-
Mr.
Do you have
Trump.
a problem with him saying that?
I have no problem with him saying that.
Because Trump said way worse than that.
But
I'd punch him right in the
did
face.
I-
He said
did I
that 100 times.
Did I tell you have a problem with him? I know you're protective of your community. Did I say I have a problem with that?
I'm just protective of the fighting community. I'm trying to have UFC go at it.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard anybody say deck. He didn't say he's gonna deck him in the
Tickle
face.
fight.
Adam,
He wants a pillow fight. A UFC pillow fight.
If somebody says I'm gonna deck him, all of you in here, what does it mean I'm gonna deck him? Luis, what is that? Does it mean face or shoulder? Eric, honestly.
Punch in the face.
Punch in the face. I mean, even Norway. What is? I'm gonna deck him. What are you?
Why you gotta try Norway,
Because
man?
Norway doesn't deck people
All right.
in the face.
Okay, I was.
Oh my gosh,
To be honest
Adam.
with you, I was expecting him to be like, I'd smack him right in the kiss, something like straight up in the face.
This
He
the
decked
kind
him,
of stuff you say while your Subway community grows. It's coming like that. You make that your community gets more loyal to you,
Just
man.
say, I wish he would have said something a little more
Beat
flagrant.
the mother like that.
Yeah, I thought
you
this
wanted
was
to see something like that.
I'm just saying the way that we built it up. I
Well,
thought, oh shit, he's
I
about to
tell
say
you,
something here.
off camera,
I'll deck him.
off camera,
yeah.
off record. I guarantee you, he said what you want him to say.
Not what I want him to say. What I
By the
thought
way,
he was going
here's
to say.
the craziest thing. Let me
Yeah.
tell you guys the craziest thing that many people think I'm crazy for this. I love watching him and his brother on camera together.
yeah,
I
you
can't
love
even
it.
tell
No,
you how
they're
much I love
entertaining.
it.
They
I
are.
can already see, like, I have a lot of friends who are on all sides politically. I have Muslim friends. People think I'm Muslim. Half the time I have to explain on Instagram, I'm from Iran. Oh, love to the Muslim community. And I'm like, I'm not Muslim. I hate to disappoint you, but I was born and raised in Iran, right?
Yeah.
I got people from all sides. Can you imagine Thanksgiving at the Cuomos? Actually think about that. I actually think Thanksgiving at the Cuomos would be so entertaining.
Keeping up with the Cuomos is what
Everybody
you're
is
looking to do.
talking shit, taking shots.
Yeah.
Like you do this, you're this fan. What are you talking about? All you did is being a governor. You're on TV, you work an hour a day. They're nonstop. So they're hilarious.
The governor had a funny line when he was talking about all his sisters, and he included Chris into that, right? Did you hear that the other day? He lumped him into his group
he
of
say?
sisters. He goes, I got all these sisters, including Chris. So that was pretty funny. Here's the other thing, too. Do not bet against the fact that if Donald Trump doesn't prevail in this election, which he still might, if he doesn't, I could see him setting up a pay-per-view, him against Cuomo. I could see the fight. I could see it happening.
Who's gonna fight?
Trump versus Cuomo. Trump will put it on pay-per-view.
Cuomo would kick the shit out of that guy. Are you kidding me?
Disagree.
Cuomo, what?
Disagree.
What?
He's one of those
Tom,
classic
look,
guys.
listen,
No, listen.
you have at any
Disagree.
point you can jump off the Trump train. fighting a guy who worked at any point you're allowed to jump off.
You just
any
accused
point.
him of not even being able
gotta get off at a
punching
certain
somebody
stop
in the
here.
face.
You gotta get off at a
Time out
stop.
here. You don't think a height advantage means something in a brawl? 6'4" versus 5'3"
Look
or
at
whatever
Mike
Cuomo is?
5'3"?
5'3",
How tall
5'5".
is
He
Cuomo?
might be
How tall-
5'5".
That guy's at least
How
6
tall is
foot.
Cuomo?
You know
Are
what
kidding
else?
me here?
He's soft. He lives up in where's the capital of New York? Schenectady,
You are so reaching right now,
Rochester.
bro.
It's not even New York City. He's
You are
not
so
even in a
Andrew,
big city.
Andrew is he's 5'11". 5'11", 6'4".
He's 5'3", and he's reaching over here.
By the way, let's just see some of these heights.
Chris
here.
Cuomo is 6'2", by the
Tucker
way.
Carlson 6'1". Cooper is 5'10". He's not 5'10". I've seen there's no way in the world Anderson Cooper's 5'10". Pelosi 5'5". Apparently everybody on Google is 2 inches taller.
These are lies across the board. Don Lemon's 5'9". He is not 6 feet.
Barron Trump 7'4". This is ridiculous. Who is this guy?
That's you saying it, buddy.
That's my guy.
So, anyways, let's. By the way, if you're watching this,
I guarantee
hang
you,
on a second.
Andrew
Let's
Cuomo
ask.
would
Let's
whoop his
ask.
ass. Are you kidding me?
If Donald Trump Sr. fought Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, New York governor, who would win the fight? Thumbs up, Trump wins. Thumbs down, Cuomo wins. I'm actually curious. Thumbs up, Trump wins. Cuomo, hang on.
Yeah.
Cuomo wins. Now,
How old? Just give the ages. Give the ages. How old is Andrew Cuomo?
Andrew Cuomo, I'm going to say he's probably 65.
How old do you think he is?
Yeah, he's in his mid to late 60s.
He's 62 years old. He's 10 years younger than Trump. He's
See,
in
he
better
looks
shape.
12
old.
years. 12
He's
years.
not in good shape.
Trump's
If we thought he was
72 or
older,
74.
Trump is 74. What is Trump's age?
12 years?
you know what?
What are we talking about
Hey,
here?
by the way, before this fight that they have, I would demand a drug
Trump's
test
74.
because I guarantee you he's on roids. Cuomo, that was a roid
Trump's
rage.
also on roids. How do you think he beat the COVID so quickly? What are you talking about? Listen,
we went from politics to steroids. We've had plenty of steroids
You're
conversations.
talking
on
about
Valuetainment.
decking people in the face, Pat. Which direction we going here?
Listen, decking people in the shoulder. It's not the face. They would never.
I'm gonna deck you right in your shin cap. I'm gonna deck you right in your chest
I
clavicle.
cannot believe he said he would deck him in the shoulder, not the face.
Listen.
Okay, all right. So let's check this out.
Trump would pump that fight. Like, would hype it up. That'd be pretty gangster.
He would hype it up. But check this out. By the way, for the right payday, you think he would do it? For the
Yeah,
right.
for the right payday.
Oh,
he's
you
g-
can't rule it out.
He's gonna owe a couple $100 million bucks when he leaves office. Yeah, he's gonna need the money.
Anyways, by the way, I think it would be a terrible fight. I think it would be one of the worst fights of all time to watch that fight. It would be a horrible fight. You know all these what do you call these exhibition fights they do? They all suck. They're terrible. They're not real
celebrity
fights.
fights? I
Yeah,
know.
it's
How
terrible.
tall was Mike Tyson, by the way?
5'10", 5'11".
Okay, same height as our guy Cuomo here. You know,
Have you seen Tyson's thighs? Do you know what Tyson's thighs look like?
Yeah, they look like
Tyson's
Dylan
thi-
Bet David's thighs. They're
That's
ridiculous.
exactly
Yeah,
it.
ridiculous.
Tyson's
His
thighs are
legs.
nuts. You know that quickness with the hip flex.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, let's talk about Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is around the corner, folks. If you live in New York and California, we have to warn you. You have to do Thanksgiving right if you live in New York and California. So you cannot screw this thing up because people are going to come to your house and some bad things could happen. Kai, do you want to pull up what the guidelines are do you have both New York and California? Okay, so you want me to read all of this? I needed like a basic one-pager. So here's, huh? I'm still trying to find it, buddy. I'm telling you.
Point is, there's a lot of freaking
They have some
rules
good
over here.
bold.
Okay, so I don't
Ladies
have
and gentlemen,
that
that's
over
Kai
here.
Lude over there. He just
All right,
made
here
an
we go.
appearance.
Here we go. So this is California or is this New York, Kai? The first one you're giving me. Okay, California. 3 household max limit. Must gather outdoors. Social distancing must take place. You must wear masks between bites and drinking. Less than 2 hours.
What?
No singing or shouting. This is your Thanksgiving in California. Let me read this one more time. By the way, this is from their website. This is not a joke. When I saw this, I said, it's for sure a joke. Let me read this to you again. Are you guys hearing this? I'm flabbergasted by this. So you can have a maximum 3 household maximum limit, okay? Must gather.
That includes your house limits. You can only have guests from 2 house limits.
So you bring your mom, dad, kids, that's it. 2 more. I can have 2 more of those. Must gather outdoors, not indoor. Social distancing must take place. You must wear masks. In between bites and drinking, less than 2 hours is what you can spend time with your family. Look at the look on your face. No singing or shouting. What do you mean no singing or shouting? Can you control F to see if that is BS that it says no? Right there. Rules for singing, chanting, shouting, outdoor gatherings. Singing, chanting, shouting, and physical exertion significantly increases the risk of COVID-19 transmission because these activities increase the release of respiratory droplets and fine aerosols into the air. Because of this, singing, chanting, and shouting are strongly discouraged, but if they all occur, the following rules and recommendations apply. All people who are singing or chanting should wear a mask, covering at all times while singing or chanting, including anyone who is leading a song or chant. Hence, they're talking about the church, because these activities pose a very high risk of COVID-19 transmission. Face coverings are essential to reduce the spread of respiratory droplets and aerosol. I mean, this has got to be pathetic, right? By the way, that's California. So let me get your reaction first on California. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, by the way, playing of wind instruments is strongly discouraged. Okay,
Go back to it,
Clay,
guy.
you're a mad jazz flute aficionado.
Yaz flute.
Hey,
as
here's
Ron
the
Burgundy
thing.
would
You know,
used to say.
listen, this is funny to a point, but these are actual elected officials who spent a great deal of time on this. I'm petrified for the future of California and New York, and I am not joking. These people will subtly, like little surgeons, little psychosurgeons is all they are, one step at a time, normalize it. Oh, we're not going to let you sing. Oh, you know, take a bite of stuffing, put your mask back on. Chew quietly. Don't sing. Don't go to church. These guys are serious about jacking all our freedoms. And that's not a conspiracy theory. If they went through that much time to write in that great of detail, they're sick people. There's something wrong with that. I mean, it's so anti-American on every single level, and it speaks to fear, and it speaks to panic, and it speaks to, we know what's best for you. Let us protect you every second of the day.
These are your people, Tom, in California. These are your people. How do you live there? How do you live
I
there?
don't know.
You've lived there for how long?
6 years?
When are you getting out of there, man? Enough's enough.
It's unbelievable. It truly is unbelievable. The other day...
No, I'm serious. I'm being serious. Like, when is enough that you're going to leave?
Well, I think we've hit that point.
So you're out.
Well, look, I'm not here to make any big announcements, but I mean, how much more can you take?
I
can't take anymore. The other day, I mean, you guys saw this, that one city council member in Los Angeles wants to turn the LA Convention Center, right next to the Staples Center, into a homeless shelter. By the way, there's no showers. There's limited bathrooms. When there's no, by the way, every day at the convention center is booked for the next 5 years. How are you just going to truck all the homeless? Could you imagine what they would do to the convention center? It would be destroyed. It would be done. Garcetti says, I need a little bit more data on this, but I think for the time being, we'll keep them in 4-star hotels. You know, because they do take over hotels and just move them right in.
Sick.
You know, it's unbelievable. Same thing in New York.
Moving to California. Why would you want to leave California? You get a free hotel.
Yeah.
These things are obviously a freaking joke. These rules.
This is not a
But
joke.
I wish it was a joke.
I get that. The fact that they're trying to enforce these rules are the joke. I look at this two different ways. Number one, who's actually going to follow this? This is birthday. No singing on my birthday.
Some people will. There are Californians that will.
I look at this as...
It's not about who's going to follow it. That's not the point, who's going to follow it.
Yeah. I look at this as they have to put something out, right? Like, they can't just be blind to the fact. Now, how are they going to enforce this? Are the... Thanksgiving police going to be knocking down your door like the Gestapo, being like, whoa, how many households we got here? Did I see someone singing? Oh, take that stuffing out of your mouth, put a mask on. I don't think they're going to, tell me how they're going to enforce this. I don't think that's even a possibility. The way I look at it is they're probably saying, we got to do something. We got to say something. This is super extreme, I agree. But they can't just be blind to the fact that.
Be careful. Be smart.
That
Use
is them
common
saying
sense.
be careful, but in, government legislative terms. It's absurd, no doubt.
So,
however, they need to say something.
Tucker Carlson was on with Adam Carolla, and they said if the police show up, just say you're staging a rally, and that's perfectly fine. You're peacefully protesting in the backyard.
You're peacefully protesting.
What happens if it's 20 degrees in New York on Thanksgiving? You got to be outside?
That's California. How does that work? What you just saw right there is California. They're talking about California specifically. I'm going to give you New York guidelines right now.
Oh, that was just California.
But that's all you think about. That's all you think about. You just think about that's it.
No, I gave you two sides of the coin there, that it's absurd, but they have to say something.
Let me tell you what is absurd if they enforce this. Right now, you just want to put a guideline, fine. Mm-hmm. If you enforce this and there's video footage, game over. You're going to see some crazy stuff happen in California.
Yeah.
If they enforce it, I pray that they're bright enough and have enough social intelligence, EQ, emotional intelligence, to not go enforce this. Because if they do, The amount of fire they're going to get from people from this is going to be absolute insane in the state of California.
Totally agree with
Here's
you,
what
Pat.
Cuomo said. My personal advice is the best way to say I love you this Thanksgiving. The best way to say I'm thankful for you is to say I love you so much. I'm thankful for you that I don't want to endanger you, and I don't want to endanger our family, and I don't want to endanger our friends. So we'll celebrate virtually. He added. But this is my personal opinion, which is fine. He can have an opinion. It's not a law.
Cuomo speaking.
It's Cuomo speaking. Deck, the guy that decks people on the shoulder.
Tyson. This is Tyson.
Deck people on the shoulder. That's that guy. If you travel to one of the 41 states or territories on New York's travel advisory, you will need to quarantine for 2 weeks when you return. However, the governor added you can go where you want as the travel advisory is not a ban. In their current guidelines that they gave, 10 p.m. curfew for all bars, restaurants, gyms, and liquor stores. 10 p.m. curfew. Curbside pickup or delivery, okay. No alcohol to go. Indoor and outdoor gatherings at private residences limited to 10 people. So New York's given a specific number, it's 10 people. California is saying 3 households, including yours, which they're really saying 12 people.
Yeah.
You got 4 times 3. So that's New York. What do you think about that?
I think Newsom is seriously, he has mental issues. I mean, the level of detail that was on that California list, the New York list was a little bit more practical. I mean, it had some level of sanity built into it. What's the point of... I mean, at least their gyms are open. At least gyms are open in New York. They're not even open in California. At least they can stay at a gym till 10 o'clock or go to a bar till 10 o'clock. We can't even do that in California. You talk about enforcing the laws, Manhattan Beach. There's every weekend, the yellow windbreakers are out on every street corner in downtown. If you don't have your mask up over your nose, they've got clipboards. They're yelling at you. They are moderately enforcing. Now, there's no way you can go into people's homes. I mean, there might be a stand your ground situation if they try to do that. But the thing that really kills me is each week there's something new. And they keep talking about COVID cases. And all I can say is I have a different mentality when it comes to it. I believe that we need to do whatever we can to protect the people that are most vulnerable. But everybody else, just be smart and have some common sense. My wife's entire family tested positive for COVID, and they're all fine. They all were ready to go after 2 or 3 days. They live in Missouri. Don't worry. And then you hear about all these athletes, that test positive and they're back playing in a week or less than that. So the hysteria has gotten so out of control. Now they're using the holiday. Wait till Christmas rules come out.
I mean, agreed. This is absurd. I don't think there's any way that they can enforce it. I totally agree that it's laughable. It's laughable. It's laughable. But let's just look at some of the other stuff that's out there. I get it. 10 million COVID cases. We've just crossed 10 million in the United States. These are facts. Really proud to say here in Texas, we are leading the way here, baby. 1 million cases crossing Texas. We're number 1. If you ain't first, you're last. Way to go, Texas. The whole protecting people. Yes, I think we can all agree young, healthy, vibrant people are not the ones that are at risk. But the concern is you show up, you want to give grandma a kiss. It's Thanksgiving. You start singing La La Sis Boom Ba, boom, grandma dies. That's what people are concerned about.
La La Sis Boom Ba?
Yeah, I mean, that's a Thanksgiving song around my house.
It's nice.
The point is, it's not so much
Very
the young
exciting.
people, the Kai Ludis of the world, this crew over here, but they show up, they come home for Thanksgiving, they see their family, they give grandma a kiss. Now you're going to grandma's funeral. That's the concern.
Is that immediate? Kiss, death, burial,
I mean,
move on?
yeah, I mean, not immediate, but I mean, are we going to play the game that old people aren't dying
Yeah,
here?
but why
are we going to play that game
why-
right now?
No, not playing that game at all. But why can't we determine whether grandma should come over for a kiss or not? Why do we need
You want to kill
the
your
governor?
grandma, Tom? Go ahead. I'm just letting you know that's the concern. Like, as much as I think that these rules are a freaking joke and there's no way to enforce them, and it is absurd and it's laughable, we're having a nice chuckle about it. I get it. COVID's real. 10 million cases, million in Texas where we are. And they need to have some sort of guidelines.
By the way,
out there.
let me tell you one thing. When you say Texas has the most cases. I called Ricky, and I said, Ricky, go get your COVID test, you and your wife.
Yeah.
Okay? I call Ricky. Ricky says, let me find one. I said, dude, let me just tell you where we go. There's one there's 15 places within a 5-mile radius here I can go take the COVID test. He calls her and says, Pat, there's none. So what are you talking about? He says, there's none. I said, Ricky, go find. I'm getting upset at this point. I'd recommend Ricky. I'm thinking he's not being resourceful. He just kind of doesn't want to go take it. He says, Pat, I'm telling you there is none. I said, Ricky, find a place. There's got to be one. Do you know Ricky and his wife had to drive 3 hours to the closest place to get COVID tested?
I believe it.
In California,
I believe it.
Bakersfield.
Oh, in California.
Yes.
I thought you meant in
So
Texas.
no, but the
Gotcha.
point is, California hasn't made it as easy to take tests as Texas has. Texas has made it so easy. You want to go get bro over here every time. Yesterday, one of our guys, their kids in school, something happened. One kid had a temperature, 101. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
We're
of
talking.
course.
He had a 101-degree temperature. Kid was at 103.5 this morning. He's
Yeah, I
doing
heard.
better now. But they took her right off the bat to get the kid tested. You know how long of a drive it was for her? 5 minutes. When got tested, negative, came back home. California, they don't have them everywhere. So as much as people say Texas is leading the way, yeah, Texas has also made it accessible. Not all states have made it as accessible as easy to go take the test as Texas has. Texas has no problem you going and taking the test.
So a question for you.
But they go out and say, oh, cases. Cases. Yeah, because Texas has done a phenomenal. Nobody gives the credit to say great job to Texas for making it very easy to go get tested. A lot of states are like, I probably just have a flu. I don't need to go get tested. You may have had COVID. Nobody knew about it because you didn't go get tested. In Texas, you're going to know because at least you have it available because a state like Texas wants to make it available for you, but they get shafted every time they do something like this and they get the black eye.
So,
Same thing
question
nationally,
for you,
too,
if
with the
they're-
numbers up.
If they're so precautionary in California, I mean, you live in California, you got a lot of people there. You obviously your whole family's there. Why are they so measured, precautionary rules, regulations, and they don't have testing? You're saying accessibility.
How big is Bakersfield? Can you go to Bakersfield, Kai? I think the population
a
of
function that
Bakersfield
Ricky
is
lives in
650. I don't know the
wow.
Bakersfield population. What's Bakersfield population? Bakersfield population right there should come up. 2020, 390. Kern County, go Kern County. Kern County, K-E-R-N County.
Good luck spelling that guy.
K-E-R, no, he'll get this. Kern County, there you go. He's improving a lot, by the way. 912,000, that's the 11th largest county in California.
Almost 1 million people.
And he had to go to Glendale to get COVID tested. What the hell are we talking about?
So is that a function of California? Is that a function of the governor? Is that a function of Kern County?
all of it.
What is that?
I put it all on California. You got a 11th largest county. You making that difficult for me to get tested? It's $275 a pop that the insurance pays for, right? You just go and say, I have the symptoms, you take it. Insurance pays for the $275, you got tested. How do you not have it in a county that's the 11th largest county in California? How you make it so difficult? And the places you go to, guess what they say? We have COVID testing, but you don't get the results for 14 days. 14 days.
It's ridiculous.
You go to CVS. Oh, I did a COVID testing for CVS. I did it twice.
Yeah.
You know how long it took for me to get my results
20
from
minutes.
CVS? No, CVS. 17 days.
Oh, wow.
I went to the local.
You're a little off there,
What-
Tom.
by the way, what do you call these
10 minutes.
places? What do you call these ER places that they have?
Urgent care?
No, you know which ones I'm talking about. You see all over Texas.
Plastic surgery place?
No, they have that as well. But the ER place right here, 3 hours. Just want to let you know, negative. So every time I'm getting tested, because they want me to get tested regularly, you're negative. You're negative. 3 hours.
So why is there such a disparity in 3 hours in certain places
Kai,
and
you want to
3
change?
weeks
Okay,
in
there you
other
go.
places?
I don't know.
what's
I
going
couldn't
on
tell
there?
you. I am not the governor of California. I have no desire to be the governor of California, but they can do things to improve the testing, and they're not. And Governor Abbott gets a lot of credit. No wonder NASDAQ is looking to move in their headquarters over
Ooh,
here.
great segue.
Because Texas attracts businesses. Musk is looking to come back here with bigger projects. You know, Rogan just moved over here from California, and now you got Governor Abbott. Shout out to Governor Abbott, low-key guy. You know, he's not a big social media guy. He's not a big person on social, but he welcomes stock exchanges to Austin. Texas Governor Abbott will on November 20th host representatives from the major U.S. stock exchanges, considering whether they will relocate their data centers from New Jersey to the Lone Star State amid the threat of higher taxes. Love these higher taxes. You know, what you vote.
Andrew Cuomo, Phil Murphy, de Blasio, our friend Cory Booker, good friend of the show. You know, test me, bro, as we said before.
You know,
They could make a power move and be in Texas in no time. I mean, you did this yourself. I mean, you're a case example right here.
Yes.
California was testing you, and you said, you know what, enough's enough.
I can't be there for
I
2
got to
years.
move.
Yep.
Tom, you know, he just announced that he's going to be moving California pretty soon. He's going to make an announcement. Hopefully he stays in the USA. I know there was a concern, but I want you to stay. We all want you to stay, Tom. But at what point do you have to just say, fuck it, I'm out?
I'm just going to repeat what I say pretty much every time on this podcast. How are we become so stupid as a country? I mean, there are governors that are just smarter, that are just doing it better. DeSantis in Florida, your guy here in Abbott in Texas. Also, keep in mind, these two states don't have state income taxes, and they still have to find a way to make the state thrive and do well and attract other businesses. I hope NASDAQ moves. I was shocked to learn that New Jersey is the one capitalizing on all the tax money on these transactions on Wall Street. Are you kidding me? Did you know that? I mean, you think of Wall Street, you think, New York City, but New Jersey. And so it makes total sense. I hope one of them, because it's going to break the dam. If a big, high-profile, iconic brand, company, institution, something like NASDAQ, were to actually move to Texas, everybody would think it's okay. And then you're going to see some real issues for these states like California, like New York, and especially with a president who is in lockstep with these governors to just do whatever they can to make your life miserable if you just want to go about, trying to bring back the glory days of 2019. Doesn't that seem like a long time ago now?
Well, just to be clear, these are the data centers, not the actual exchanges. So they could be anywhere for that matter. It's where they're housing.
Yeah, but you got to realize, I mean, you are making it seem like it's not really a big deal.
That's not what I'm saying.
The data centers that are paying 0.25% per financial transaction, averaging 10,000, a minimum of 10,000 electronic trades each year. So this data center is the one that you want to be over here. You want the data center in Texas.
Definitely
you
not
don't care about the other
downplaying
guys.
that. I'm just saying, it's not like the NASDAQ is physically moving to Texas.
No. But you're getting
New York Stock Exchange isn't physically moving.
Exactly
it's the data centers.
where the cost is. It's what's moving to Texas, which is what Abbott wants. Good for Abbott for doing that. I applaud him. Respect. By the way, if you guys are following this right now and watching this, and you heard this whole segment, we went through California against New York. California's guidelines are you can't have more than 3 household gatherings at the house, no singing, no chanting. You have to wear a mask in the outdoors. You can't even have the Thanksgiving at your house. You have to be outdoor. And between bites and drinks, you have to put a mask on if you're not. How many of you that are watching this, if you were living in California or New York, are going to follow the guidelines that these states tell you? If the answer is yes, put thumbs down right there. Push that thumbs down button. If you're saying, hell no, I would not follow the guidelines, I'm still going to have a happy Thanksgiving. I just may not invite my grandmother to say stay home to be safe. Press the subscribe button. If there's no way in the world you would entertain any of these guidelines, you're still going to have it. I'm actually curious. Right now we're showing 23 thumbs down. We're showing 30,200 subs. Let's see what this goes to. Let's see what people are going to say about this. Go ahead.
I have a different question for you because obviously I think we can know where our answers are going here. And I'm on the side of thumbs up for sure. You asked this question before. I think it's a good question to pose again. Better state for entrepreneurs. Where would you rather be, New York or California? You posed that question at one point, did you not?
I did.
The results came in, I think, tied. Did they not? 50-50?
Yes, they did.
Has
I'd
that
take
changed
California
at all?
for the weather if they were that similar, right?
They did. They came. Believe it or not, I would take New York over California.
Why is that?
You want me to tell you why?
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you why. Because I don't think, to me, it has nothing to do with weather. Of course, I love the weather in California. Of course, my family's in California.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, all of that stuff. I think people are starting to realize how I'm wired. It's very simple for me. My wiring, my family took them a while to understand this. I go where my values and principles are protected the most. California, my values and principles are not protected. New York is more lenient than California, believe it or not. California on the taxes list is the 50th worst in America. Texas is 42nd.
For high earners, you're saying.
Period. Okay. Taxes, period. California is 50th worst. New York is 42nd worst. And you're even seeing the way Cuomo says it. Cuomo says what? Here's my opinion. This is what I think you should do. He's not enforcing. Newsom is saying, here's what we're gonna do. It's a big difference in spirit. Garcetti is demanding. Not a fan of de Blasio at all. I think Garcetti and de Blasio are twins. They're very, very similar. Mm-hmm. One maybe 7'4", and the other guy is 5'10", but they pretty much are twins. But I think Cuomo has a little bit more appreciation for his billionaires, his entrepreneurs, his job creators than Newsom does. I think Cuomo understands business more than
obviously
Newsom
you
does.
have
by the way,
the Hollywood liberals in California that are obviously very outspoken. I mean, these are these are your peoples.
How do you literally write down on paper that take a bite of food and put your mask on? It defies common sense. It's just so weird to think that you could be that that weird.
Yeah,
you
that's
know, to write that down.
That's crazy.
So your vote is for New York. Your vote, you're staying in California.
Well, I say they're both completely in the toilet, so I'll take the better weather.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to take Florida on this one. You catch me there in South Beach. I'll be around there. So
You
just
gave the
let
two options. You fool.
Yeah, I got you.
You manipulator.
The trick's on you.
You
A dirty
deck the
trickster.
shoulder moving forward.
I will deck you right
If you ever
in
say
your
I'm going
shoulder.
to deck you, I'm going to say this guy's about to hit you in the shoulder.
Watch out, bro.
That's it. You got it. I'm going to deck you. Put your shoulder out there next time I'm going to deck you.
Put some
All
shoulder
right,
pads
so
out there.
let's look at some stats here. Let's talk about voting, okay? I did a video years ago, and I want you guys to watch this and be very transparent about what I think. You may say, Pat, fully extreme. Disagree all you want. I won't be offended by it. I was 35 when I shot this, and I was fully my mind hasn't changed much based on that when you see it. It's very extreme. I'm telling you, it's very extreme. But you have to watch the whole thing for you to be able to say,
I'm excited.
Fine. But before we get into it, I want to set this up. Let me give you some of the ages that we have in America on what you can do. Age, like what age you need to be to do different things. You want to be a president? How old do you need to be? 35. You want to be a VP? 35. Senator? 30. Congressman? 25. We just had the youngest congressman ever, by the way. House of Representatives, I'm sorry, 25. We just had the youngest, by the way, just so you know. We broke the record. The youngest just won. Have you seen this young kid? Good-looking guy. Have you seen this kid? Young kid. Type it in, youngest House of Representative. I think he's 28, maybe 27. Type it in. He broke a record. No, it's not.
He beat AOC.
Yeah,
AOC
he beat. It's a good-looking 25. Is that what it is? North Carolina. That's the one. 25 years old. Right there.
The dude in the wheelchair?
Yes, the dude in the wheelchair. Youngest, 25-year-old. North Carolina representative, Republican Madison County. 25-year-old. Congratulations to him in the wheelchair. To what's his name? I want to give a proper shout out. Madison
Cawthorn.
Cawthorn. Props to you, brother. Madison Cawthorn. If you know him, send him this message, this video here. So, 25 years old. Okay. Sexual consent.
There you go.
Watch this.
How?
Here.
What was that? What was that first one?
Sexual consent.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Let's go to sexual consent. This is the one that fully flabbergasted everybody in this room. Okay. Out of 50 states, when you think about the right age, the consent age to have sex, the legal age to have sex, what number do we think about?
I guess 16, 18, something like that.
I think about 18. I've never thought about 16. You guys think about 16? Luis, what do you think about? 18? What do you think about?
18.
16.
So you think about 16 too? Both of you are in the 16 camp?
No, I want to retract that. Cut. 18. 18.
Right, buddy. You're saying 16 now because you saw the stats at the beginning. Kai, what do you think about?
In Norway, it's always been 16. So.
Norway's always been 16. Okay, so check this out. If you didn't know, now you're going to know. Can you pull up the states on what age you have to be to have legal sex without getting arrested? Check this out.
What she's almost saying.
Okay, watch this. Go up a little bit. All of these states, Alabama's 16. So is Alaska. Arizona's 18. Arkansas 16. California 18. Colorado 17. Connecticut 16, meaning a 50-year-old can have sex with a 16-year-old and you are not going to get arrested.
Whoa, where are you getting the 50-year-old thing?
Right there in, what do you call it? In
Has close-in age exception? Is that exemption? Is that what it is?
Exemption, yes, exemption. Colorado 17, Connecticut 16, Delaware 18, D.C. 16. D.C., all the politicians, 16. Florida, 18. Good for you guys. Florida does it right. 18. Georgia, 16. Legit. Hawaii, 16. Idaho, 18. Illinois, 17. Indiana, 16. Iowa, 16. Kansas, 16. Kentucky, 16. Louisville. Are you noticing? 80% is 16. Maine, 16. Maryland, 16. Massachusetts, faster, Michigan, Kai. Minnesota, 16. Missouri, 17. Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, 16. New Hampshire, 16. Jersey, 16. New Mexico, New York, 17. Carolina, 16. Dakota, 18. Ohio, Oklahoma, 16. Oregon, 18. I would think Oregon would have been like 15. Pennsylvania, 16. Rhode Island, 16. South Carolina, Dakota, 16. Tennessee, 18. Good for them. Texas, 17.
Oh, nice.
Utah, 18. Vermont, 16. Virginia, 18. Washington, 16. West Virginia, 16. Wisconsin, 18. Wyoming, 17.
Interesting here. West Virginia, 16, but 15 if it's your sister. So way to go, West Virginia.
If it's your sister. Okay.
Way to go, West Virginia.
So the legal age to have sex, 80% of the states is 16. Some of the other ones is 18, okay? Next, criminal responsibility, okay? Criminal responsibility. State by state, 33 states set no minimum age of criminal responsibility. For federal crimes, the minimum age of criminal responsibility is 11. Driving, 14 to 16 years old, you can drive with a permit. 16 to 17, restricted license. 18, unrestricted, which, by the way, you said it earlier today. Are you comfortable with 16-year-olds driving a car? I don't know. I know what I did. The moment I passed my driver's license, I know exactly what I did that minute when I got the car.
When I think of how difficult it is to drive and everything you have to know, 16 is too young.
Okay, so that can be debated, but it's 16. Gambling, 21. Drinking, 21. Working, 16, 17. Marriage, 18. Nebraska is 19. Mississippi's 21. Meaning in Mississippi, you can be married 21 years old. Yeah, Mississippi. Nebraska's 19. We're learning stuff. Retirement, 62 to 67. Leaving school, 16 to 19, you can choose to leave. I don't want to go to school anymore, Mom. I'm dropping out. Smoking, they changed it. Eric was devastated. Yeah. Smoking, 21. Cigarettes and weed is 21. You ready? Voting is what? 18. Let me get this straight. You mean to tell me I'm not allowed to drink until I'm 21 years old. I am not allowed to smoke weed or cigarettes till I'm 21 years old. I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to gamble until I'm 21 years old. But I'm allowed to vote at 18?
Or you're allowed to die for your country
at 18
and serve in the army or the military
it's
at 18.
Absolutely pathetic
ridiculous.
To me if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely pathetic to me when you think about it. I think the voting system needs to be changed. My opinion, I've been saying this for a long time, okay? Now, I wasn't born here. I'm from Iran. I came over here, complete different perspective I have, but I shot this video 6 years ago. To be exact, the date, if you pull it up, guys, so we can pull up the video date, it is April 15, 2014, which is what? I look like I'm smoking weed right there. Legal age, 35. Thanks, Kai, for getting that picture right there. I'm wearing a Babe Ruth jersey. But do you have it on 1.5 speed, by the way?
People are voting less. In 2008 presidential election, we had 61.6% of eligible voters show up. And in 2012, we had 58.2% show up, which has dropped by roughly 3%. And the subject of voting keeps coming up. And I said, we need to do an episode on it and put some ideas together. And I put these ideas for a while, but today I'll present it to you because, look, we've had a lot of people that have fought very hard, whether it's to get African American with civil rights to be able to vote or women's rights. We've come along such a long way, but I think we can even improve it even more today than before. So let me get right into it. The program I'm going to be talking to you about is called Earning the Right to Vote. Earning the Right to Vote. The reason why it's called Earning the Right to Vote, I'm an immigrant. I came here from Iran to America. America was willing to open the doors and allow our family to come here. In Iran, we didn't have freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of many, many things, free enterprise. And so in America, they offered that to us, but I didn't come in feeling entitled to all of it. I felt as an immigrant, I had to give back and earn the freedom that America gave me. So the program's called Earning the Right to Vote. First one, point number one. If you paid $8,000 in income taxes the prior year, you get 1 vote. So what if somebody pays $10,000 in income taxes? You get 10 votes. What if somebody pays $100,000 in income taxes? You get 100 votes. Well, you may say, Pat, that's not fair. The people who pay more taxes get more votes. I simply took the system on how public corporations or companies who have outstanding shareholders and outstanding shares on the system they use. And this is how it works. A company could have 1 million outstanding shares, but only 100 people own the 1 million outstanding shares. And the way they allow to vote is not based on the 100 shareholders. If one person owns only 1 share versus a person owns 100,000 shares, which one has more to say, more of a voice for this company? Obviously, the person that has 100,000 shares. And I feel our voting system should be the same exact way.
Logical.
If you contribute to society more, you ought to have more of a voice on what we should do with our voting system versus somebody who does not. And if you want to have more of a voice, you ought to pay a little bit more into the income taxes. That's my idea on point number one. And there would be a salary cap with 100 shares, 100 votes. So you can't go above 100 votes. Kind of like how NFL has a salary cap. That's the way we'll put it at 100 votes. And the age part with this, it has nothing to do with 18 years old, 21 years old, 25 years old, 30 years old.
Freaking
if a
beast of a
16-year-old
guy.
kid who worked at Baskin Robbins last year and he made $15,000 and he paid $2,000 in income taxes, he ought to have 2 votes.
Yes, you do.
A 23-year-old kid who's completely healthy, not disabled, doesn't want to get a job.
They pay well at
doesn't
Baskin
want to
Robbins.
go to college. I would rather hear from the 16-year-old kid who's paying income taxes and contributing to society than a 23-year-old kid that is undecided, wants to stay home, family pays for all his bills, he doesn't want to give back to society. I'd rather hear from the 16-year-old. Point number 2 of the ideas I have in place. If you've served the military, whether you pay any taxes or not, you get a vote. But you need to complete boot camp and AIT, Advanced Individual Training. I think military is a good thing for a lot of our younger boys to go into because it disciplines them, teaches us a lot about independence, toughness, fight, freedom, honor, a lot of good things. I think it'll do a lot of good things for the country, period. But if somebody in the military paid $15,000 in taxes, he would get 15 votes because his numbers would still accumulate and go higher. But if somebody went to the military and didn't pay any taxes, you're still getting 1 vote because you served the military. Point number 3, public service, police officers, firefighters.
extreme.
You went off the deep end.
A few other names on this list here.
Fantastic.
They put their lives on the line, similar to military. If you're willing to put your life on the line and go fight fires while your wife is at home wondering what's going to happen to you, and you got 2 little ones, you want to put your life on the line for me? I mean, you have more than earned the right to vote. Same with police officers. And so you get an additional vote if you are serving for public service and putting your life on the line. You absolutely get the right to vote as well because of what you're doing. Number 4, job creators, nonprofit or profit. if you create a job that pays $120,000 over a 4-year period income, so if you hired somebody and they make $40,000 a year and they're with you for 3 years, you paid them $120,000, you get 1 vote per job you created for our economy. 1 vote per job you created for the economy, and the limit on that is also 100 votes. If you created 100 jobs, you have 100 votes to vote for any kind of things that we're coming out with. Point number 5: retired individual that's paid over $10,000 in life taxes, they automatically get to vote because they've already put into the economy, they've put into the marketplace, they've put into our country, they've contributed to society, so they get a vote no matter what. The number is $10,000. Number 6: anyone with a 4-year degree, whether you have paid into taxes or not, if you're willing to stay disciplined, go to school, get educated, you ought to get a vote. And for a master's degree, 2 votes, and for PhD, 3 votes. So if you have a bachelor's, if you have a master's, and you have PhD, you ought to be able to have 3 votes because you have disciplined yourself and gone out there and finished education more than some of the rest of us, and we want to hear from you more because you're willing to put your head down and read the books and educate yourself. I think we need more people to go out and educate themselves, like the people who stay disciplined to get their 4-year degree, 8-year degree, and their PhDs. And obviously, this whole thing would be needing to have an ID to go out there and vote, but we know who you are.
Time there.
7 years ago, 6 years ago.
This is how it could look like. If somebody made $60,000 last year, they pay $10,000 in taxes. That's 10 votes. If that person also has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, they get 2 additional votes. If they served in the military before, that's an additional vote. That person could have realistically 13 votes to vote for an election because of how much they've contributed to society. But this is the disclaimer at the end, what it has to do with illegal immigrants, because we have this whole debate with Amnesty, and I've been interviewed on this before.
Watch this. You're about to like this.
Because so many times people say, oh, illegal immigrants, they ran across the border and we need to do this and we need to do that. Honestly, if I'm a father and if I'm living in a country where I see it's not the best thing for my kids, or if I see what's taking place in Iran or Mexico or any of that stuff, and I got to provide, I'm responsible for my kid. I would go across the border to come to America to provide a better life for my kids. Wouldn't you? Think about that for a moment.
I would too, buddy.
If you look at immigration, the whole purpose of immigration is to bring the best talent in the world to our country. We are leading in immigration because the best talent from China, from Europe, from everywhere, they are still wanting to come to America. It's not as ahead of a lead as we used to have at one point. Right now, it's dropped a little bit, but we bring the best talent. So we have 11.7 million illegal immigrants living in America. Roughly 400,000 of them were deported last year. And out of that 11.7 million of illegal immigrants, they paid a little shy of $11 billion in taxes last year. So what do we do with the folks who are illegal immigrants living in America? This is my opinion. These are my ideas. I think if one is an illegal immigrant, but they did any one of these things we talked about, if they went out there and they actually paid $1,000 in income taxes, whether it's on a tax ID number, if they went out there and actually served the military or are willing to serve the military, if they're willing to go out there and serve the military, they're willing to become cops, police officers, they're qualified, they're willing to go out there and create jobs, they're willing to go out there and get a degree and get educated. If they're willing to do these things, I say we need to allow and give them the right to go out there and take a quiz, because they need to take a test to know the history of America, who the president is, certain things that they need to know about. But I think their votes ought to count as well for what they do to society. They play a very, very important role. There's no reason why we should not have illegal immigrants being able to vote as well. There are more people that are illegal immigrants that are contributing more to society than somebody who is
surprise you a little bit, huh?
To society. Why not let them be heard as well if they're willing to earn the right to vote by contributing to society? So what we did is we went to the streets and we went on a couple college campuses. You'll see a logo on one of the.
You don't need to listen to all of them, but watch the first. The second guy will shock you.
Some of these subjects, such as voting and politics, and here's some of the answers we got.
All right. So first question is, how would you improve the current voting system in the United States?
I was going to say maybe more parties, but it'll probably complicate things. It'll take too long probably for things.
What I would do is make the vote that the people put out when they go to the booths and vote. Make that the one that counts, not the one that takes place behind closed doors when it goes back into the offices.
In the end, it's just a popular vote. What really matters is the electoral vote.
Shout out to Mario doing the interviews, by the way.
Different areas. Encourage more people to vote.
I would make it more convenient for people to vote.
By decreasing the super PACs, probably better inform people. Encourage.
By the way, he went to UCLA
campus. I know that like people like me don't really want to. They're too lazy, or they don't know how to, even though it's really easy. Prefer for there to be better access to voting booths.
As far as politically, you know, you got the Republicans, the Democrats.
You can pause it at this point. You can pause it at this point. Okay. By the way, I hope we don't get flagged for using the video of Valuetainment from 6.5 years ago. I hope these guys are not going to come after us. So tell me about this guy's thoughts.
Wow. You know, the level of detail is staggering. Staggering. Here's my first thought. We have poll workers who can't count to 1. How are they going to count to 33? No, but there's some great points in there. It clearly shows that we just witnessed it. You know, things are messed up. You know, I think there has to be some sort of changes. When TikTok can, you know, help decide elections and influence people to the level that they do, and these kids are armed with votes and maybe not armed with the knowledge that they might need, something is askew. And the only way anything would ever happen is the party in power found a way that it benefited them. Then they would then, you know, make it happen. But how long did it take you to come up with that formula? Were you working on it for a long time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, I've been talking about that since I was 30 years old, but I've never put in video. I've been talking about, if you work closely with me, they tell you, Pat's crazy ideas, that I've proposed to our guys for a long time. I think every single thing about a company, let's just say I don't like something Starbucks does. Who the hell am I to tell Starbucks what to do if I don't own a share of the company? If I own more shares, I should have more say. If I don't, I shouldn't. What's the difference between that and America? But in America, it's like, no, even the person that doesn't own shares of Starbucks, who doesn't contribute or do anything, should have say. No, they shouldn't. You shouldn't have any say in it. In a household, if you're not paying rent for the house I'm living in, you got 3 roommates. Adam, you've ever had roommates?
Yes.
If you got 3 roommates, you ever had a roommate that never paid a bill or never paid anything living with you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do they have any say in how for you
Are
to
they
set
bringing
up?
groceries to the table?
Nothing.
They paying the utilities?
If they bring nothing.
Why the hell are they still living with you?
If they're not, will you let them say anything about how you should shift the way you set up your house or apartment?
Good analogy. I see
You
what you're
would
saying.
never let anybody tell you what to do. Who the hell are you to say anything? All I'm saying is, let's pay some taxes. Why don't you go pay some taxes?
Some skin in the game,
That's all
right?
it is. Have some skin in the game. Go pay your taxes and then say what we
Makes
need
total
to do.
sense. What
It's all
about
good for me.
what about a mandatory age for you? Where are you at as far as voting?
I could care less about age. I really could care less about age because to me, it's not about age. I know 16-year-old kids. I'm being dead serious with you. I know 16-year-old kids more responsible than 30-year-old kids. This kid came over here from Colombia. Sam came here from Colombia at 14 years old. His father passed away. He comes to Colombia, independent. Who's paid your bills the last 7 years? Who has paid your bills the last 7 years? That guy should have had a vote since he was 15 years old if he paid into taxes.
Well, according to your plan, he'd have 12.
What I'm trying to say to you is I don't care about age. I care about you paying taxes. The pain of paying taxes, you ought to have a voice. Democrat, Republican, Independent, I could care less. But now you have skin in the game.
So
Not
it's
anybody
all based
else.
on taxes is what you're saying. This
I didn't just say taxes. You didn't see taxes.
Okay,
It
I'm
has
just saying-
education.
True,
if you
true,
get a
true.
degree, you have
Military?
votes. If you serve the military, you have votes. If you want to be a firefighter, you have votes. It's skin in the game. Dude, if firefighters, we sit there and we see firefighters, we think it's just a regular. I one time got into a market. I remember this Kevin Pearson guy years ago. If he hears this, he's going to be shell-shocked. I remember his name because that was like 17 years ago. And I went through the market of firefighters for a span of 6 months. I worked with these firefighters, and it was a bunch of these guys, all studs. You know how many of them went through a divorce? Every one of them had a divorce. It's a rough life. It's tough for personal life. It's tough for parenting. They go through challenges. They lose friends. They're burned legs, body parts, coming home. These are not easy jobs. Everything we're talking about bashing cops. You go talk to a wife and a son who lost their dad on a front line doing the work. They got shot. Then go ask him what it feels like to be a cop. You think that kid wishes his dad wasn't a cop? That kid wishes his dad had a regular job working at Staples or a different place. These people deserve the right to have. So for me, it's not about just taxes. It's about earning the right to vote so you can have say. If you're looting, if you're going out there fooling around, ruin what this great nation is all about, you should have zero say, zero vote, nothing if you're not contributing to the society. Zero.
I'm in.
I mean, the level of time and effort that you did to even come up with this completely wild and outlandish plan is actually incredible. It gives us some deep insight into your mind. I mean, obviously, it's very complicated, and we don't know how many votes a certain person would get.
It is complicated.
I mean, is it fair to say that that's not getting implemented anytime soon? However, I do, with amazing level of respect, the fact that you care that much to take because that wasn't easy to come up with. I mean, how much man hours it took you to come up with that. That's what we need more of. People who care that much saying this is what it needs to be. I'm not even talking about left, right, center. I'm just talking about you care that much. This is what it means to be an immigrant from Iran you have no voice there when you can earn your voice, go to the army, become a businessman, become an entrepreneur. One thing that I'm happy to see, I mean, to that,
yeah,
we just had the highest voter turnout since 1900 in America. So whatever you want to say about,
we would not have had the highest turnout since 1900 if we had to check everyone's ID. There's no way in the world this would have been the highest. You realize, no way in the world this would have been the highest if we all had to see the ID. Zero chance.
That's what you think it came down to? No IDs?
No. I don't think that's what it came down to. It's absolute math. It's not maybe. It's not 99% accurate statement I'm making. This is 100% statement I'm making. If we had to check 100% of everyone's IDs who voted, we wouldn't have this many votes.
So how do you vote without ID?
Mail-in ballots? What do you
mean? That's just how you don't have to have an ID?
No, you just drop it
What do you
off.
mean? You just drop? How'd you do it?
I mean, they had my name on the ballot. They had a
but
barcode.
did you show your ID or no?
I had a mail-in ballot, no.
But so you didn't show it. So how did they know you sent it in? Nobody knows. Somebody else could have sent it in.
You're saying have to show up with
There is
ID.
no way in the world. Listen, a decision this big, a decision, You know what this would do, this system? Look, a lot of people are saying, I'm conservative. I absolutely disagree with Pat. I love that. Some people are saying, screw the snowflakes. Fine. Some people are saying, I'm a conservative. I partially agree with some of them. Some people are saying, I 100% agree with Pat. The whole point is, I don't care whether you agree or not. Start the damn conversation. I don't care if you agree and you want to break the whole thing down, go do it. Start the conversation. There's no way, and by the way, Adam, for yourself, you know a lot of people would see a program like this, and you know what they would say? They would say it's so extreme. But you know what's crazy? That's exactly how they live their lives. Let me say this one more time. A lot of people would see this thing here and say it's extreme. But that is exactly how they raise their kids. That's exactly how they live their lives. You and I just talked about somebody in your life where you said, you know, they had their kids ever again. That'll be the last time. If I get a feeling that you're just thinking because I have money and you want me to pay every time, we're done. It's not going to happen again. We'll hang out. You ain't going out with me again because I know you're thinking I should take the bill because I have money. I don't play that game because everybody ought to have a skin in the game. This is not a radical idea. People live this life. Voting-wise scares the shit out of them in case if we go in this direction, which that part I understand because a lot of people would lose their votes.
Yeah, and the people that conceivably could be in power here very, very shortly, this is the last thing they'd want because this worked out very well for them, how it just happened. And to think that we're not even seriously considering changing, you know, how this voting is going.
So how many votes would you have in the PBD voter system? How many votes would you have?
I don't care to have a record-breaking voter turnout.
I'm not asking...
You know how many people
I'm
I care
how many
to vote?
votes would you have personally?
No, he's saying in your
formula. I don't know.
Is that what you
yeah.
I have no idea how many. I'd be limited at 100 because I'd reach my limit. I wouldn't have more than 100 votes. Listen, if I pay $50 million in taxes, I'm not getting 50 million votes. I'm only getting 100 votes. So there's a cap at 100. So there's no abuse. So a billionaire cannot say, I got 17 million votes. No, you don't. You only have 100 votes. But I would want you to max out your votes. Go get to 100 votes. I would encourage you to go get your 100 votes. Go become a 100-vote person so you can say, my vote is 100 votes. Have pride in it. I'm a 100-vote person. I voted. Then people would say, damn.
They'd have to print a lot more
then
stickers.
I would recognize you in America. I would say, wear the shirt that says, I had 100 votes. People are going to say, that guy's a 100 club. Damn. Adam's part of the 100 club. Legit. Dog, good for you. Now the person says 10 votes. Good for you, bro. 10 votes. Now 4 votes. How'd you have 4 votes? I got my PhD. Phenomenal. And I got this. Okay, phenomenal, man. Congratulations to you. It becomes a real recognition. How many people, I just voted. Why do you think the vote doesn't matter to them? Because you didn't earn the right to vote. You just got voted because you hated somebody. It's not how voting should be. Voting should be great freaking job.
And,
good for you.
And if people take some pride in voting, they could also lose the right? Didn't you say by rioting and things like that you could lose votes?
Yeah.
Interesting, amazing thought formula here.
By the way, if you're watching
let's
this,
implement that
if you're watching this and you guys are saying it's lagging, YouTube had problems yesterday lagging. They do today as well. They had issues. Our T1 line is solid right now. Everything is solid on our side right now. YouTube had a lot of issues yesterday. You can go on Twitter and see their account on what they said. They're doing the same thing again today. But those of you guys that are still with us, great. If you missed any part of it, we'll repost this as well, short clip for you to see. We have the recording, right? So we can post a recording for them to see it without any of the glitches, all that stuff. Okay, thank you for your patience. But watch this. I'm curious. If you listen to what I pitched right now with ideas, and you agreed with 80% of what I had to say, push the thumbs up button. If you didn't, put the thumbs down button. If you have opinions that you want to share with me personally, send me an email. I want to hear from you. Actually, send me an email specific and let me know what's going on with some of the ideas I said. Because, again, going back to me, you don't trust me to drink until I'm 21. You don't trust me to smoke weed or cigarettes until I'm 21. You don't trust me to gamble until I'm 21, but you trust me to vote at 18, having never paid any taxes, and I have the right to vote? Problematic. We shouldn't celebrate that record-breaking people turn out to vote. That's no celebration. We should celebrate a record-breaking amount of people pay taxes. We should celebrate a record-breaking amount of people created a job. We should celebrate a record-breaking amount of people served the military. We should celebrate a record-breaking amount of people went and got bachelor's degree. We should celebrate the record-breaking amount of people that became cops and firefighters. We should celebrate service, 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 service. That's what we should celebrate. The more we celebrate that, guess how everybody thinks at that point? Service. The basic thing about how you teach dogs is what? Dog pees outside, what do? You give him a treat. Good job, buddy. Awesome job. Come here. Here's a treat. Phenomenal job. Dog goes and does everything you ask him to do. You give him a treat. When we become kids, what do parents do with us? Good job, buddy. You did your chores. Great job. You can watch some TV. You can play some video games, right? Whatever we incentivize kids, adults in America, they're going to do that the rest of their lives. If you incentivize me sitting home and collecting checks, I'm going to be doing that. If you want me to just stay home and in California, you're going to put me at a 4-star hotel? You said, wow, 4-star hotel. Really? Why wouldn't I want to be homeless? You're incentivizing that. It's pathetic that this is even have to be explained. The concept that this has to be explained is what's really pathetic about it.
Yeah.
The idea that this is somehow a controversial concept is what's pathetic about it. If we got a country, give us 10 million people, give us a country the size of, I don't know, give us a land the size of Texas. Give us a country the size of Florida. Give us 20 years. Look what happened to our country. Let me say this one more time. If we had a country where we set up the guidelines, our constitution, our values and principles based on the way we want to do it, give us 20 years and see what would happen. We'd be the hub of innovation around the world. We'd be the hub of the best talents around the world. We would create and solve every problem in the world if we had the right values and principles that we could create.
Yeah.
Not this nonsense stuff to try to please everybody.
Yeah, and we're just at the beginning of a 4-year cycle of it. It's kind of sad.
Let me ask you, Pat. And again, kudos, shout out to even your train of thought here. But we talked about 16 and 18-year-olds.
Yep.
You know, drinking, smoking, voting, driving, all that. You know, I would say 90+% of high school students, 16, 17, 18, are just in school. They're not working. They're not working at Baskin Robbins. The majority, right? I mean, obviously some kids are working and doing like little part-time jobs, not paying much in taxes is my point. Fair point?
Sure.
Okay. The question I have is, doesn't that sort of disincentivize them, meaning they have not paid any taxes? They're 18 years old. So the next time that they'd be able to vote is at age 22. So now you have a 6-year span, 4 to 6 year span of our youngest minds, our high school students, our college students. I'm not talking about whether they're liberal, conservative. That's 5+ years of them being completely disengaged from politics. Isn't that sort of
no, you know what it does?
What does that
Here's
do?
what it does. It makes it that much more special when you get the right to vote. You celebrate that much more when it's not a handout. You celebrate the vote. A father takes his son and saying, I'm so proud of my son. He earned the vote. A mother takes her daughter and her son saying, I'm so proud of my kids. They earned the right to vote today, and it's emotional. Parents cry. Kids will cry. I earned this vote. Versus, here's who I'm going to vote for. Because somebody in school hates such and such, I'm going to vote for the other guy. That's what I'm going to vote for. You think they vote logically? You think 18-year-olds are going to vote logically? You really think 18-year-olds vote logically?
No, but okay, I love your idea here, but here's another problem.
Yeah.
You're 18, you still haven't paid anything in taxes.
Yeah.
You go to college.
Okay.
You're taking out student loan debt. Your daughter just graduated from college, right?
That's
Pepperdine. I assume she has not had a job per se. So you go to college, you're there for 4 years, you still have not paid any taxes. You've taken on debt, now you're 22. Well, you know what? Fuck it, I want to get my master's. I want to go get my doctorate.
Get it.
Now you're going to school for another 2 years, 4 years. So now you have a lot of 25-year-olds who have still never voted.
Didn't you get it that a bachelor's degree gets a vote?
Yeah, but until you're 25, you don't vote.
Bachelor's degree takes 22. What are you talking about?
So once you're 22, you get one vote. So that's
you got to do. Of course, I don't care if you've ever paid
taxes. But that's
taxes.
millions and millions and millions of people that don't get to vote until they're age 22,
But
23,
if they don't,
or older.
I was paying taxes at 16 years old. What age did you pay taxes? First time you ever paid taxes?
Yeah, probably like 18. I don't know.
Okay, you earned your vote.
But $1,000 in taxes.
That's it.
Okay.
You earned your vote. I'm proud of you. You earned your vote. We ought to be proud of our 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who earned. We ought to celebrate people earning their vote. Let me say this. It's a celebration. It's a recognition. It's a milestone. A man, a woman should have on the wall, in my lifetime, I've had 13,000 votes. In my lifetime, I've had 628 votes. It's a celebration.
Okay.
Last year, I had 62 votes. You're a shareholder. I own a
Yeah.
piece of America. I'm proud to be American. I love this country. I have skin in the game.
I'm with you. Dude, the reason that I have so many questions on this isn't because I'm like, well, I think this.
No,
Pat.
I know you're not.
It's because
I know.
it's such a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
It's such a fascinating school of thought, such a fascinating way to even think about it, that I'm asking these questions because I'm thinking, well, what about this? What about that? Because it's sparking some things that are
so
going on in the brain
Takar
here.
Truth says, yeah, let's ruin democracy, Pat. Great. Go deeper into it. Tell me what you mean by that. Voting should be based on meritocracy. 16 here as well. Raul Castillo. Raul Calito, are you paying taxes? I pay taxes at 13 years old. Had a work permit to work as a minor, Patrick Keeler. I have no problem with the age paying taxes. I could care less about the age. I care about the habits.
So can you vote at age 13 if you pay taxes?
Adam.
Could you vote at age 13?
I could, because a 13-year-old will understand the pain of paying taxes. I wouldn't care if a 13-year-old voted. They paid into the system. If you're 12 years old, you own a share of a company. I don't care if you own a share of the company. You have say. What do you want to vote for? You have say. To me, you know how they say the brain is not fully functional until you're 25 years old. You've heard this saying before.
Yeah.
Some of them say it happens at 30. Some say it's 25 years old. That's why even if Rogan says he doesn't believe kids should smoke, he says you shouldn't smoke weed until after 30. What a point. Don't smoke weed until you're after 30 years old.
That's so ridiculous.
But no, it's not about so ridiculous. What he's trying to say is he didn't start smoking weed until later on in life. He was not a smoker early on. He started later on. So it's
he's gone down a dirty path.
It's a logical processing to say brain be informed. But if you're 14 years old and you've already experienced what it's like to pay taxes, you've had the pain of being independent, listen, I trust you more than a 25-year-old that's got a silver spoon in his mouth, never had a job, is a schlep sleeping on everyone's friend's couch and bitches and complains about mommy and daddy and the fact that he wants another $1,000 from his rich dad. Yeah, that guy shouldn't have a say.
Where does this factor into bloated government and big government? Because this ain't an easy system. There's going to have to be the most ridiculous in-depth system to count the votes. You did pay this taxes and you got your doctorate and you get 13 votes, but then you failed the class and then next thing you know, you got to go back to school and then you only get 14 votes. Like, it's a slippery slope here. Again, I commend the thought process here. It's ridiculous. It's absurd to see your brain in action. It's just, there's a lot.
Johnny just paid $5. He says, by the way, some of you guys paid $20, $15, $10. I saw it. I'm trying to catch up to you. PBD's on a roll. I'm 100% in. Tell me where your new test country is. Eric Whittemeyer. Man, I want to recognize the other guys. We didn't catch you, but we will next time. Love the idea of Johnny Van Johnson. But voter fraud would be even worse if votes weren't correlated to population one-on-one. I don't think so. I disagree. I think it'd be a lot easier to do that because it's data. It's data. If you have the data to show you worked, you have it. If I can show my tax, here's how much I paid it, IRS would know how much I paid in taxes. It's data. It's automatic data. All of that is trackable. See, it's easy to track who's a shareholder. That's not hard to do. It's easy to track who's giving their opinions on a shareholder call because you know who. It's a document that everybody has who's a shareholder. At the end of the year, the government could print out a system to say, this year, this is how many votes you get, Adam. Who do you want to vote for?
Yeah. And there's people that just say, you know what, I got 100 votes, I've qualified, but I'm not going to vote.
That's okay.
Don't you think there's just two different types of people in this country?
Yeah.
People that want to be feel they should be incentivized to do things, that you've earned the right to do something like vote and everything else, and everybody else that thinks that, hey, it's my privilege, it's my right, I can do whatever I want, I can do that. Look at California. They spend way more time trying to figure out what you can do in between bites of a Thanksgiving dinner than something practical like this. And there's no way that there's any, the sad thing is there's no way for any hope for this because the Democrats would never want something like this. How do you count dead people then? You know, let's get all the kids coming in there to vote that don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah. No, the chance, just so you guys know, I'm not pitching this to see that this is going to be passed in the next couple of years. The chances of this passing, the chances of this passing is more likely in a different country than in America. The chances of this passing.
They would call you a racist for even coming up with the idea.
I would love to debate anybody who calls me a racist. I'd have such a fun time with them if they call me racist.
What country could you see this happening?
Any country that wants to compete with America, because America's getting so soft that look, here's how competition works. Let me tell you how competition works. Competition works the moment you notice a nation getting arrogant, be ready. Mm-hmm. The moment a nation gets arrogant, be ready. Be ready. It's interesting times coming around the corner. The moment you get arrogant, cocky, in sports, in business, what do arrogant people do? They no longer wake up at the same time. They no longer have the same fire, the urge. You know, I'm interviewing a guy yesterday. He says, what's going to make you more fired up today because you have more money today than before? How is that fire still going to be? I said, you don't know who I am. I'm more fired up today than I've ever been in my life. And you guys both know who I'm talking about, our buddy here. I said, I have more fire in my belly today than I've ever had, and I'm 42. I'm more fired up today than I was at 23 years old. than I was 25 years old. I'm so fired up. So it's
because you got 100 votes now. So, you know, you get.
I've had 100 votes since I was 26 years old. I've had 100 votes for a long time. My 100 votes is not a recent thing. You said you look like $1 million. What I tell you, I've looked like $1 million since I was 27, 28. This is not about looking like it. This is about knowing and thinking like it. This is logical reasoning. You don't have to agree with it. I'm not telling you this is going to pass. I'm not telling you, you know, the chance that I can't even run for office. I can't run for president. I can't run for any of it. I'm not born here. But all I'm saying is if a country took this idea and their foundation from the beginning is like this, that's a dangerous country. Yeah. Everybody would wake up saying, I can't wait to earn my vote.
Yeah, and I wish you had the choice to go to a country like that.
Yeah.
I wish there was something in place.
Felons get a chance to vote in your country?
You're paying taxes?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
If you're a felon?
Yes, you do. You know why?
Okay.
Can a felon own a share of Apple?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. I don't care if you're a felon. You get to vote. Because it's
time.
skin in the game.
Yeah.
I don't care about felons. I don't care about, to me, it's skin in the game. You pay taxes. You're a felon? Totally understand. You screwed up. Hey, bad for you. Should have never done that. But you came out, you got a job, you paid $3,000 in taxes, you have a vote.
100%.
Color doesn't matter. Discrimination doesn't matter. I don't care what color you are, what nationality you are, what religion you are. I could care less. That's your choice. Atheist, agnostic, Christian, 7-day, Catholic, Jew, doesn't matter. Height, any of that stuff, doesn't matter. Do your thing. You contribute, you get to vote. Okay, Paul Nieto III. I like it. It goes in a way of what Socrates said, and more with not only a knowledgeable voter, but service or helping community as well. Now we have people voting because Cardi B said to vote for Biden. That's pathetic.
And it's true. It's 100% true.
He's right.
Yeah.
So and it would, like, you know.
That's that WAP vote.
Check this out. Let's go into the conversation I was having with you guys yesterday about the guy that I talked to. What's this guy? Yeah. So I was telling you, I was talking to Peter Schweitzer yesterday. And if you guys don't know who Peter Schweitzer is, Kai, you want to pull up on Google who Peter Schweitzer is? Peter Schweitzer is there you go. Peter Schweitzer. He is the former William J. Casey Research Fellow at Stanford University Hoover Institution. Okay, Peter Schweitzer. He's written a lot of books. Go to Amazon so we can show the books. He's written a lot of different. Just type in right there, Amazon, the bottom right there. Third one is him. There you go. You can do that as well. So he's written a lot of books. Now, obviously, it's one-sided. He wrote Clinton Cash, which affected the last election. Okay, and that book got I don't know how many thousands of reviews. That affected Clinton because everybody talked about Clinton Cash. Profiles in Corruption. He breaks down everybody, left, right, middle, everybody, McConnell family, everybody. And the recent one is Secret Empires. I asked him a question yesterday. I think we were having this conversation. I said I want to bring it up today. The question was, who are the most powerful organizations or individual in America today? And before you guys answer it, I actually want to hear from you as well that you're watching this. And I want you to rank this. So hear me out when I'm saying this, because I want to hear you rank these in the comment section. Okay, so Adam, if you're ready. Yep. Kai, I want to hear from you as well. You were in it, so you can't play along. Luis, I want you to think about the answers here as well. Eric, you too.
I've forgotten, if that matters.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
You told me.
I asked him a question. I said, who are the most powerful people in America today? I said, number one, the President of the United States. Okay? I just said, not in a list. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is.
One is President of the United States.
Yeah.
Second one is billionaires. Third is universities. Fourth is social media companies. Fifth is mainstream media. Who's the most powerful? Let me read it again. Presidents, billionaires, universities, social media companies, or mainstream media. Once again, presidents, billionaires, social media companies, universities, or mainstream media. From first to last, who do you say is the most powerful to the least powerful? His answer was shocking, and I agree with him. First to last, who would you say?
I'm going to step out because I know the answer because I was in the meeting, but so I'll have some comments later.
Okay, you go ahead. Who's from the most powerful to the least powerful?
I have, just off the top of my head here, most powerful right now in America are social media companies.
Okay, so social media for you is the top.
I would put number 2, media. For some reason, I feel like the president, according to this list, would be last, although I would disagree with that. I got billionaires and universities coming in at 3 and 4. And
You got billionaires
last.
third. You got billionaires third. Universities fourth.
Universities third.
Okay, universities third.
Fourth.
And then president last.
Yeah.
Okay, president's last. What do you say, Luis? Who's the most powerful? Eric, who's the most powerful?
So I'm kind of going that way, but I'm going to flip the 1 and 2. Let's do media.
Mainstream media first, then social media.
Then social media.
Okay, all right, cool. I like that. Eric, what do you say?
I think it's social media, then it's media, then it's universities, then it's billionaires, and then there's the president.
So you guys are identical.
Yeah.
The two of you are identical. Kai, who do you have?
And he's a conservative.
I say universities or social media first, then universities, then media, then billionaires, then the president.
Hang on. So social media first, then universities,
mainstream media,
then mainstream media,
billionaires, and then president.
Okay, so here's what he said. Okay, here's what he said. And we got a lot of different people here, you know, Energized with Andres, Royal Family, Ryan Lynn says MSM, social brilliance, college presidents, that's it. So MSM's first, then social media companies, then billionaires, then college and universities, then presidents for Ryan Lynn. Juan Guzman put social media and billionaires are the same thing to him. Okay, Ron Harris says Illuminati. Great, we went to a complete different direction there. But okay, I'm going to give you a shout out. All right, so here we go. Here's what he said. Number one at the top, social media companies.
Okay.
Most powerful.
Yeah.
Most powerful.
Zuck is the most powerful non-elected
in the
official.
world.
Yeah,
in
for sure.
the world. No, not just non-elected official. He's the most powerful in the world.
Wow.
Zuck is the most powerful. If he ran for office, he dictates everything. He is the most. So he said socialists first. He said universities are second. He said presidents, Congress third is what he put. Fourth, he put mainstream media. Fifth, he put billionaires. He says billionaires are irrelevant today. He says no one cares if you're a billionaire. There's so many of them. Billionaires don't matter anymore. They used to 30 years ago, but they don't do today. There's a lot of billionaires. If I read the Forbes 2000 or Forbes, you would know 80% of the names if I read the names to you. Okay? So social, universities, president, MSM, then billionaires.
Okay, thoughts. Number one, what a scary list. It's completely horrifying, and I'll tell you why. Because you look at number 1 and number 2, and you could put media at number 3, mainstream media, if you wanted to. 3 of the 5, 60%, don't entertain other thoughts than their own. They will shut you down if you have a conflicting opinion than them on social media. And don't think they don't know their power either. They know exactly how powerful they are. They just showed it. And the other thing, universities as number 2, if that's what he says, that's scary too, because they're not allowing any other thought. In liberal arts universities, you are not allowed to have a conflicting opinion of it. And if you look at the numbers of people that, professors in college, it's like 35-1 when it comes to a conservative versus a liberal.
13-1. 13-1 Washington Times.
Okay, and not only that, but they're militant. They won't just, hey, I disagree with you, I respect your thought or something like that. They will shut you down. They will attack you. So to me, this is a very, very frightening thing, and they're only getting more powerful.
Yeah. Adam.
Yeah, I think we all agreed that social media was number 1, especially these days. I mean, we're seeing, you know, in Congress just last week who had to show up. Zuck, Jack Dorsey looking like ZZ Tops. How do we say the CEO of Google's name? How do we say his name? Anyone? Sundar Pichai. Thank you for that, Kai. Our 22-year-old who's able to vote these days. Social media number 1. I think, you know, that's a scary situation. Universities number 2. Why are universities number 2, you think?
Because they're training the next crop of people that are coming out to believe what they believe.
What percentage of Americans go to university? 25%?
The ones that are the cultural elites that end up on the coast that dictate everything that's going on in this country.
You got a point. It's the people that end up, I mean, think about it. Right now, the ticket to getting a nice job is through what? A degree. So if you get a nice degree, you get it. It is changing, but it's been like this for a while. Universities, as of right now, has extreme influence.
Are we saying that it's the universities or the products of the universities? Meaning, like, you go to Harvard, you become a, you know...
No, it's the universities, what they're training you, the culture. I'm sure that's what he meant.
It's a cultural thing with professors, what they're doing.
You're saying that's the teachers, the professors.
Yes.
I mean, where are you going, though? It's not. Well, what is a university? It's the professor. Like, you know, you are going to be taught by a professor on whatever he or she thinks.
Well, these days online, it's hard to get influence as much. And then what? President was number 3?
President was number 3.
Where was number 3? Where was president, 50 years ago? Number 1?
Probably first place.
Number 1,
yeah.
right?
And he lumped Congress into that at number
Yeah,
3.
he did. He said Congress.
Yeah.
He specifically said Congress and president.
Well, thank God that the president doesn't have ultimate say.
Yeah.
Congress.
But,
is there
but the
to
point is,
check that.
the president is no longer the most powerful man on the planet. It's no longer. That's no longer the case, guys. Twitter is censoring the president. Think about what I just said right there. Twitter censors the president. Twitter dictates what the president can say and not say. Who has the power?
Yeah.
President?
Right.
President can't tell Twitter, hey, show what I have to say. That is, you right there, you realize who really has the power.
True.
It ain't no president.
And to even document that more, when the president can actually showcase the power he has, it's through social media. I mean, that's where Trump has his most power, when he's communicating to his base through social media, which even further illustrates how powerful it is.
People are saying audio is lagging like crazy. What's the story? They're saying audio is lagging like crazy. Is it matching with the video or no? Is there a little bit of lag? That's what they're saying. But anyways, okay, let's continue. So, interesting take. Kai, can you pull up what Biden's camp is saying they're going to do when they become president with COVID-19? I don't know if you got that article or not. This is pretty interesting because this is what they're considering doing the moment Biden takes office. Their recommendation is, I don't know if you have it. I emailed it to you. I emailed it to you to kai@valuetainment.com. It is something I sent you, Kai. I don't know if you're seeing it or no. I have it right here. If I can send this to you, it's on Daily Wire or CNBC. If you go to CNBC, type in Biden COVID advisor says. Biden COVID advisor says. COVID advisor says. Yeah, there you go. Go to that right there. First one. Good. Biden COVID advisor says U.S. lockdown of 4 to 6 weeks could control pandemic and revive the economy. Okay, go a little higher. Let's read this. Dr. Michael Osterholm, which, by the way, if you guys don't know who he is, he was the first guy that came out on Joe Rogan. He got like 20 million views. Coronavirus advisor to President-elect Joe Biden said a nationwide lockdown would help bring the virus under control in the U.S. He said the government could borrow enough money to pay for a package that would never cover lost income for individuals and government during a shutdown. We could really watch ourselves cruising into the vaccine availability in the first and second quarter of next year while bringing back the economy long before that. Go a little higher to see if there's anything else below. Go a little higher to see if okay, so 4 to 6 weeks. What do you think? 4 to 6 weeks, Adam, shutting it down. 4 to 6 weeks.
I mean, obviously we're trying to avoid another shutdown. That's something that's
what they're saying to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes I'm going to play devil's advocate here. COVID is back. We've been saying that.
It's not been gone.
No, meaning it was going down over the summer. Boom, they've been saying it once the fall and the cooler weather happens, COVID's back. I mean, Trump's been saying we're rounding the curve all over the campaign. In my opinion, that swung a lot of voters being like, dude, what are you talking about? We're numbers are going up. What I assume they're thinking is sometimes you need to take 2 steps back in order to take 100 steps forward.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody wants a lockdown. Anyone who's like, yay, a lockdown, yay, more masks, yay, awesome, the economy. But this just comes down to numbers. If it's going to cost us more money and more stimulus to keep fighting this pandemic, and the numbers just don't justify, the ends don't justify the means, if we have to lock down for a month in order to be freaking free and clear of COVID.
So you're cool with that? You're cool with 4 to 6 week lockdown?
I'm not saying I'm cool with it. I'm saying if these are what experts, not talking heads like us over here, experts are saying, we might want to consider listening to experts on this. Obviously, our gut instincts are going to be like, another lockdown, oh my God. But if this is what it takes, we need to do something about this, because how much money is the pandemic costing us because our economy is not fully functional?
The answers are whatever the media decides to tell you that day. I love how people that voted for Biden tell us that COVID is back. How the hell do they know? Are they the doctors? How do we know this guy isn't a quack? All right. By the way, I'm embarrassed. He teaches at the University of Minnesota. I think it is the most harmful thing he could possibly say. I think it is dangerous. I think he should be disbarred. I think it's terrible what he said. Another lockdown would destroy this country. I mean, to an economic degree that I don't know if we'd be able to get out of it for a long time. And here's the other thing, too. Biden is a puppet. He will do what everybody tells him to. He's already been documented to say that he would shut down the country if science told him to, or if he was encouraged to. So Can you read the tea leaves where this is going? It's headed in exactly that direction. And you know what? Do we really know COVID is back? Yeah, positive tests are back. Are people dying more? Is it a fatal disease?
Pull it up.
Are
Let's
ICU units really that overwhelmed right now?
The coronavirus
Apparently they are.
We don't know that.
Let's
we don't
see
know
the
if the
rates.
media's saying it. We don't know it's true.
Let's just take the hospital's word for it.
Don't go Texas. Go all show all. And if you can make that bigger, Kai, be good.
Have you guys talked to doctors like in March, April, May
Yeah, we
that
did.
are actually in?
We did. Go to.
It's not as bad.
Go to death. Yeah, go to death. So death is not up. Cases are up, Adam, if you think about it. So do me a favor. Put them side by side. Like put another page side by side so we can go to it. So go to another page and put the same exact search that you just put up. COVID cases. Just type in coronavirus cases. Yeah, there you go. Like that. And go to it. And then change from Texas to all. Show all. So look at that. So can you make this smaller and put it right next to the other one? Because I want to compare the two. Make it smaller and make the other one. Yeah, so go to COVID cases. So go to death. Because this is how you measure this. Like if the cases are up but death is down, it just means it's not as deadly, just so everybody knows. Yeah, go a little more left and then change it from cases to death on the left side. Yeah, so if you look at that, can you make that a little smaller, Kai, or no? Can you? Okay, just look. That's fine. That's fine the way it is. Okay, so if you look at this right here, this is what you see. So here it went up. Cases went up. So death. This is cases. Okay, cases went up. Death went up right at the beginning. We had no clue what we were doing. Then death went down June 13. Cases flattened. Okay, cases went up. We had one big day here. Then it's pretty much been flat, even though the cases have been going up. You don't see a spike going up. So you realize the more cases go up and death stays flat, you know what it's saying? It's not as deadly. That's what it says. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So if cases are going, look how bad. It's the worst it's ever been with cases, right? Look at over here. Mm-hmm. It's the worst it's been with cases, but death is flat. You know, so if this spikes, then that means the rate of how deadly it is deadly. But if cases are going up, it just means kids are going back to school. September, kids started going back to school. October, November, you know what? Kids are around each other. By the way, in my kids' school, they just shut down high school. High school has to go home because 3 kids got COVID. So they shut down the whole high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they send the high school home in Texas. It's a private school. But everybody else is still going to school. But high school, because they're playing around, they're together, they're playing sports, whatever they're doing, they shut it down, right? So, but you know, the data doesn't show more people are dying. Data shows we're getting more cases.
I get it. My question, what I'm saying is this. What would you rather have? We don't shut down, GDP grows at, 2%, right?
Yeah.
We shut down for a month, GDP grows at 10%. What would you rather have?
That's not a realistic option.
That's not tell me.
Well, how's the GDP going to grow over a lockdown? I don't think that'd be like saying, would you like to have a shutdown for the country, but you're guaranteed to have a winning lottery ticket, or would you rather not have that?
Well, the GDP.
Lockdown's bad. No other way around it.
GDP in the second quarter went down 34%, right? It went back up 35% in Q3. My question is, if we lock down, but GDP is able to grow because they get a hold of this.
No. GDP doesn't grow if you lock down. GDP only grows if you send free money out. That's how it would grow.
Okay.
So we're going into more
Well, there's
debt,
going to be another stimulus package.
It's not going to get approved if Senate is owned on the other side.
There's still going to be a stimulus package.
Not
it's just
the
the
kind
size
that you
of it.
think. Not the size.
It'll be at least $1 trillion.
Yeah, $800 million.
Be $1 trillion.
$800 billion. Yeah.
Okay. But all I'm saying is, if experts, not talking heads like us over here, are saying that a potential lockdown.
You're forgetting.
These are not.
Listen, just so you know, lockdown benefits me. Let me tell you selfishly. So a lockdown benefits me tremendously. More money in the stimulus benefits me tremendously in millions of ways. We had the biggest month in the history of the company when there was lockdown. Selfishly, it benefits me. But it crushes restaurants. It crushes small businesses. Do you know how hard? So let me give you a little bit more perspective. So you know when you start a business, how hard is it to keep a business running and flowing? You know how hard it is?
Very hard.
Very hard. You know what's even harder? When you go out of business and try to start another one. When your business goes out of business, what's your next move? What's the first thing you do when your business goes out of business? What's the first thing you got to do?
Try another one, I guess.
No, you get a job. You go get a job to save money because all your savings was in that business. So the only reason you went out of business is because you ran out of money. If you have money, you would have never ran out of business.
Yeah, but these businesses that are operating at 50% capacity.
Yeah.
Okay. Why, if they continue to operate at 50% capacity.
If you shut down, they're done.
Their margins are so
not
thin
if
when they're
there's
100%
stimulus,
capacity.
not if there's PPP.
With stimulus, how much stimulus are you going to give them to stay in business?
If it's for a month. If it's for a month.
I've been looking at office space left and right. You know what landlords have been saying? We're
What?
giving 25% discount for people that are struggling. 25%. They're not saying, hey, it's okay. It's 25%, 25%. The other business that took a big hit, his business didn't take a 25% hit. The other guy took an 80% hit. So you took an 80% hit on revenue and profits, but you're getting a 25% savings on the lease you got to pay. You're out of business, buddy. It's just basic stuff of paying bills.
What kind of business are they possibly doing at 50% capacity? Let's.
Because you're desperate. You need any kind of money to try to stay afloat, and you're trying to make your business stay live with your savings, your life savings, your 401k.
You're saying if there's 1 month of lockdown.
Yeah.
I'm posing a question here.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And they give you money. They give you money.
They're not giving you enough money. $800 billion is nothing.
Well, you're saying 800 billion. They're saying it could be 1.5 trillion.
That's nothing.
To who, though? What do you mean?
To everybody. A lockdown is a horrible thing.
it's
How do you
not
keep a
enough.
business going on
Bro,
that?
if you
For 1 month here, guys. We're not talking about for 6 months.
Do you
That's
really
a long
believe
time,
shutting down
Adam.
the country is a good
1
thing
month is a
right
long
now?
time.
I mean,
Listen,
literally?
Airlines got crushed. Good news we got. Vaccines coming out. Stocks went up. It's good. People are excited. Phenomenal. You want to shut down for 4 to 6 weeks? And by the way, you know how you shut down the economy for 90 days? You know how you shut down the economy for 90 days? Guess how you shut down the economy for 90 days? First, you convince people to agree to 4 to 6 weeks. That's how you shut down the economy for 90 days. Do you understand what I just said? Here's how you do it.
You're saying it's a slippery slope.
No, here's how you do it. You shut down the economy for 4 to 6 weeks, but the cases all still there. We need to go. We're almost there. Let's go 4 more weeks. Yeah. That's what they did last time.
No, Pat, that's exactly what's happening in
That's what they did last
California.
time.
That's what they
Buddy,
do
it's-
every
it's a
single week and every
slippery
single
slope.
month, man.
I'm not saying we should do it.
I know
I'm
you're
just
not
saying
saying
if
that.
the numbers
I know what you're
support
playing
it.
devil's
but we don't
advocate.
know
I'm playing
these
devil's
numbers.
advocate.
No, I-
Tom, you know who also doesn't know you? You're saying it so matter of
Yeah,
factly.
but I can't control myself when someone is advocating to shut the country down. It makes no sense.
I'm with you tremendously on not doing that. I think what needs to happen, look, when we're having a conversation about New York, what'd you say? You get perspective. Your perspective was what? You wanted your grandma to die? Okay, you don't want your grandma to die if they come to Thanksgiving. So what did I say? I say, are you guys still going to have the gatherings? Maybe you don't invite your grandma. Maybe you go to the grandma, you check on them, and you leave, right? Maybe some people are not going to do that. So the grandma, like the other day, Tico was sick, okay? He had a flu, 100 degrees. He likes to sleep with his papa. I went, I said, you're not sleeping with papa tonight. He says, why not? I said, because your dad's...
Democrat can be involved in individual people's lives that benefits them. A shutdown is beneficial to them for that reason.
For what? How does
You
it
got 'em
benefit
elected
them?
Because they're more dependent on the government. They'll want the stimulus. They'll want everything that the big government wants to provide for you is what they think that they'll need.
So you're saying that he wants to do that so people are more dependent on government. It has nothing to do
Are
with
you
actually
saying you
trying to
don't think
control.
Biden wants to have a shutdown?
I'm
I think
asking
he
you.
does.
You don't think there's any part of this that he
here's the
wants to
last
actually
thing I would
control
say.
the virus?
Here's the last thing I would say. If I'm not saying the virus isn't out there. I'm not saying it's not bad for people that are susceptible to it. Do you know anyone personally who has died from it? I do. I know a 91-year-old, a 90-year-old. I don't know anybody other than really, really extremely old people, and I don't know anybody that it has really, truly affected their day-to-day.
Phone system is offline right now? The phones are, yeah. I'm working on it. So, but that doesn't affect this? Okay, got it.
Okay.
Got it. So, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what this is all about. I mean, people cannot hear anything
figure it
we're
out.
saying
Thank
right
God we
now.
have Dr. Zenner over here to enlighten.
know,
us.
YouTube
it's not
had
about
huge
Dr.
issues
Center.
yesterday,
Yeah,
right?
they had huge issues. They're having issues. It's all good. I mean, it's all good. We had people. This was great dialogue. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to upload this and put the short clips and get people to be able to hear this conversation because this was a great conversation we had here today. You probably cannot hear this, but for those of you that can hear it, when we re-upload this, if you enjoyed today's dialogue, click on that subscribe button. If you got any thoughts about what we talked about, comment below. We actually read your comments. And with that being said, have a wonderful week and a weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.